Good folks, it's your boy Sports PSP. Welcome to another episode of the Sports PSP podcast. First and foremost, I want to apologize that we are running the show a little bit late. Had some technical difficulties, so I apologize. Hope everyone is on checking out the Sports PSP podcast now. We're already over 33,000 subscribers, and we're going to continue to put in more work, more content, and we're going to do whatever it takes. Of course, I got the panel with me. I got my guy Harrison. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, bro. Can't complain. Panthers are on a 3-game winning streak, and also basketball's back as usual. So I just want to say a toast for you three. Just want to take a cheers. Hope everyone's having a blessed day. God is good. God is good.
All the time.
And also, by the way, the Falcons lost the bye week, so that's even lovely. So can't complain about that.
You knew at
The
some
one
point
chance he
Harrison
gets
was going to bring that up.
the one chance he's gonna get to drop that joke in.
Diabolical.
We got
The one chance.
BRF in the building. How you doing, brother?
Oh boy, it's been a day. 39 years old today, so
Oh, and happy
got
birthday.
I
Happy
appreciate
birthday,
it. Thank y'all, appreciate it. Got some birthday love in the chat. I posted my little reel earlier. Friends, family, showing me love. I'm grateful, appreciate it, man. Just blessed to see another rotation on this earth, man, and hope to keep it going as long as possible, man. But hey, we ain't stopping here, man. Only strive to do better and get bigger. So I'm just blessed to still be here, and it's always a pleasure to hop on this with three of my favorite folks. So let's get to it.
Absolutely. And of course, we cannot start the Sports PSP podcast without the one and only undisputed world champ. Please go like and subscribe to his podcast on YouTube. Also, please go check him out on TikTok. How are you, my brother?
Man, always a privilege, a pleasure, and an honor to be here, man. Happy birthday, BRF, man. One of these birthdays, I'm gonna come up there, you gonna see me, and you already know what we're gonna do. So
What's going down?
it's going down. But always a privilege, a pleasure, and an honor to be on what? The highlight
Like
of Friday.
Friday nights.
Where else would you rather be than on the Sports PSP podcast, man? Especially on a cold winter night like tonight, man. I mean, sitting right next to the 5-man, pull up a chair, man, and listen to the Sports PSP podcast. The New Jersey Genius is in effect.
And always a pleasure, man. And we're going to get into some really great content, and we're going to talk about some really great stuff. Let's talk about the NBA, fellas. The Philadelphia 76ers, particularly Joel Embiid. He's out for tonight's game due to a knee injury. There was a report by ESPN Shams Charania in which Kyle Lowry of the Philadelphia 76ers held a team meeting, and Tyrese Maxey called out Joel Embiid for basically being late for everything. And Joel Embiid got really frustrated with the report. He said that whoever leaked that out is a real piece of you know what. I can't use the type of language. You look at the Philadelphia 76ers right now, believe it or not, they have the worst record in the NBA as we speak. And look, they acquired Paul George after moving on from Tobias Harris. I will say this regarding the report for Shams Charania. He's one of the well-known reporters that we have out there. There's him, Adrian Wojnarowski at one point. I mean, Adam Schefter, ESPN. So when Shams is reporting something, it has to be true. And with Joel Embiid, guys, we talked about Joel Embiid. Remember the columnist Marcus Hayes, who wrote a column mentioning Joel Embiid's late brother and son, both by the name Arthur. As a result, he was suspended for 3 games for shoving the columnist Marcus Hayes. And look, we still to this day agree that what Marcus Hayes did was wrong. He should have never brought up Joel Embiid's late brother and son. but it does give credence to the report, the column about Joel Embiid's lack of professionalism. Joel Embiid has been in the NBA for now 11 years. He was drafted in 2014 with the third overall pick by the Philadelphia 76ers. So this is on him as far as his lack of professionalism. It's bad enough if the organization, people from the top of the organization, to be telling Joel Embiid to be professional, not be late for everything. But I must say, it is pretty embarrassing that a young player is telling Joel Embiid that he's late for everything. Even though Tyrese Maxey is an all-star, he's a guard, but still, Joel, you're supposed to lead by example. You're supposed to set an example for all the other young players. And if the other young players, if they see that, then guess what? They're going to copy the same exact thing from Joel Embiid. And this is more with the Philadelphia 76ers because this is what they've tolerated. This is what they've allowed. I mean, not just Joel Embiid, dare I say Ben Simmons? Because when they drafted Ben Simmons coming out of college, what were the projections of Ben Simmons? They said LeBron James, right? I heard Stephen A. Smith say all the time, he's a jump shot away from LeBron James. Nowhere near that. And you're seeing Ben Simmons now in different teams, and he's regressed. So when I look at the Philadelphia 76ers, don't get me wrong, it's still on Joel Embiid because you've been in the league that long. You're supposed to lead by example, and you're not being a professional. And the fact that younger players are calling you out, Tyrese Maxey is calling you out, that is embarrassing. That's just as embarrassing as the Kyler Murray situation with the homework clause. Because you've been there long enough, you should know how to act like a professional, in my opinion. But for the Philadelphia 76ers, they've tolerated this mess. They've tolerated it for so long. So I look at it both sides. And for the Philadelphia 76ers, what are you trying to do? What are you trying to accomplish? I mean, and look, I talked about this with my therapist. She lives in Philadelphia. She brought up a great example. Allen Iverson. Champ, do you remember Allen Iverson during the time he was in Philadelphia, when he went to TJIF Fridays, partying and drinking? This is what the Philadelphia 76ers had tolerated. Now, again, Allen Iverson, we gave him a pass because of how great he is as a player. And the reason why Embiid gets a pass with the Philadelphia 76ers is because of how great of a performer he is. But imagine if Joel Embiid wasn't late. Imagine if Joel Embiid took it like a professional. Imagine if Joel Embiid got himself in shape every single year. We should be talking about him the exact way that we're talking about Nikola Jokic, Giannis Antetokounmpo, all the other all-time great players. Don't get me wrong. Embiid is a great player, deservedly so of the Hall of Fame. But Joel Embiid could be so much more if he take the game more seriously. And I think it's a problem with Joel Embiid. You could say it's on Embiid because of his lack of professionalism, his history. You could say it's the modern day history with these athletes, but it's still on the Philadelphia 76ers because this is what you've allowed and tolerated. So, Champ, I'm going to let you go. What are your thoughts about the report? What are your thoughts about Embiid, how he's handling it? What's your thoughts about Philadelphia in general?
Number one, I will say this. There's this particular reporter, and I will not say his name, who shall remain nameless. You know who I'm talking about, PSP. And this is the only time I've ever agreed with this particular person. And that is when he said, the real process is Nikola Jokic, and the real joker is Joel Embiid. And he said that almost 8 years ago. And that's the only time where I ever looked at it and said he is absolutely right. He's absolutely right. And the thing is, if you're late for every little thing, what does that say about your seriousness of the game? You're supposed to be vying for the Western Conference Finals with Boston right now. That's what you was predicted to do before the season started. because you went and got Paul George. You made some additions by subtractions. You made a lot of big moves. You was predicted to go against the Celtics and renew the rivalry that was there in the 80s when the Celtics just practically hated the 76ers, which is still a rivalry, not as much as it was back then, but still a rivalry. But none of that is going on. Number one, look, and might be the hottest take I ever have. Look, the process is over. It's over. We've trusted it long enough. The process is over. So, and you've tried it with several other different pieces. You've tried it with Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons themselves. You've tried it with Tobias Harris. You've tried it with Jimmy Butler. You've tried it with James Harden. Now you've tried this whole trust the process situation with nearly every star player that we can name. And it hasn't worked. And the common denominator of that is Joel Embiid, unfortunately. He's the common denominator of this. Now, you can put a lot of blame on the 76ers for a lot of things. They should have kept Jimmy Butler instead of Tobias Harris. I think if Jimmy Butler would have been there instead of, a lot of these other players, he would have held Joel Embiid more accountable. And that's why he liked Jimmy Butler, because he held him accountable. But the thing is, look, eventually, there's an old saying that my old man, shout out to Johnny Pryor. You know who he is. I know you out there watching. I told you to watch tonight. He always used to tell me this when I used to go to school, go on the football field, get in the boxing ring, whatever I was doing. He used to always tell you, and I know you heard this too, BRF, because you from down south. I can want something for you all I want to. You have to want it for yourself. You have to want it for yourself. And the thing is, you're unhealthy. I mean, and these are not the first reports. Remember, there was reports back in the day, when he first got in the league, of they had to literally pry junk food away from him. What does that say about your dedication? What does that say about your approach to the game? So, look, and if young play, and we have it, as far as him being called out by Tyronn Maxey, we saw this before with Shaq and Kobe.
Yeah.
We saw this before with Shaq and Kobe.
Jim Gray. Remember when Kobe called Jim Gray to do an interview, and then Kobe just basically called Shaq fat and lazy?
Yeah, and told him to stop eating all them doggone Krispy Kremes. Exactly. So this ain't nothing new, but the thing is this is your 11th year in the league. This is your 11th year. You just won the MVP not too long ago, but the things that you are doing is making that MVP a distant memory. Right now, your team is in the lottery. Your team is in the lottery. I mean, right now, we're talking about Cooper Flagg maybe possibly teaming up with Joel Embiid. You're in the lottery. That says a lot about this team, and you should be carrying right now. You should be carrying this team on your back like the leader that you should be. Instead, every time we read about you, it's in the news. Now, I don't blame you for sizing somebody up because they're talking about your brother and your son. That's perfectly fine. But the thing is, when you are doing things that is unbecoming of an athlete, of a professional, guess what? You're opening yourself up in order to get a lot of that flack. It's got to stop one way or another. In Philadelphia, stop enabling star athletes. Stop. The reason why, I'm going to tell you one franchise that's very, very successful, and you may not like them, but you got to respect them. The Pittsburgh Steelers. Because you get wrong, you do so much is get an inch wrong up in Pittsburgh, you up out of there before it's all said and done. Santonio Holmes, Antonio Brown, you name the name, they got wrong, they was out of there. The only person that literally did not get off like that The only person that they didn't get rid of was Ben Roethlisberger when he got in that trouble down here in Georgia. And the only reason why that happened, and people don't know this, the only reason why that happened is because that was during the lockout season, because he was on his way to Arizona. So Philadelphia, stop enabling players. It's like history keeps repeating itself. You enabled Charles Barkley when he was there. Granted, you didn't do a good job of keeping the players around him by alienating Rick Mahorn. You enabled Charles Barkley when he was there. You to the point where it only took Jeff Hornacek in order to get him to Phoenix. You enabled Allen Iverson when he was there. Granted, he won the MVP, but it could have been so much more. Now it's Joel Embiid. How many times must you enable athletes before you kind of figure out, hey, I don't need to do that, and that's not conducive to winning? Hey, on that note, the process is over. Either you need to look into either you need to start calling teams in order to get you like 5 first-round picks for Embiid right now, because right now he can't stay healthy. Right now that team is unhealthy. You're in the lottery right now. There's a big old chance right now. As of right now, granted, it's still garbage time. You're in the running for Cooper Flag at this point. That's the thing. You're in the lottery right now. So either you need to get these players in gear, or you need to start making calls in order to blow the process up, because that's what it's looking like right now.
BRF?
I mean, what more? What more can you say? I mean, it's crazy too, because Joel Embiid should never be anywhere outside of top 3 player in the world discussions. I mean, he just shouldn't be anywhere outside of that. I mean, just what he brings to the table, his ability to play under the basket, his mid range. I mean, his ability to shoot the 3, his rebounding, his rim protection. I mean, in terms of even at his size, and sure, in terms of sheer talent, when he's on his A game, I doubt you can name 3 to 5 players better than him when he's on his A game. But it's just the lack of. If you don't want stuff like that to come out, get your mind right. You shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be acting that way if you don't want stuff like that to come out. I'm sorry, it should not be Tyrese Maxey, who's what, 3rd, 4th year in the league, calling you out like that. It should not have to get to that point where it 3rd year,
5th year,
5th year should not take a 5th year guy. Albeit Tyrese Maxey is an all-star and one of the growing, budding potential superstars of this league. Should not take him calling you out like that. When a 5th year guy is calling you out like that, you really might want to look in the mirror at yourself and see what you're doing wrong. And it's funny because I've seen reports like in the offseason, and this is kind of true to what they're saying as far as Tyrese Maxey growing to be the vocal leader of that team. Why is he growing to be the vocal leader of that team when you have a Joel Embiid on your roster? Why is him? It should not be him. And the fact that it's him says a lot about Joel Embiid, because honestly, I feel like you have to kind of look at his motivation to play ball and his motivation to get better and his ability to like his professionalism. It's like late to everything. I mean, at some point you gotta look at yourself and you gotta decide what you really want as far as your career. And if I'm the Philadelphia 76ers, I think they're what, 2-12, whatever their record is right now. I think it was 2-12 going into the night. So I mean, it's like if y'all keep going like this with your roster, which I mean, you should still be doing better with the roster that you have. I mean, besides Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey, I mean, Kelly Oubre Jr. is not a scrub. You got a growing rookie stud in Jared McCain, who's been balling his butt off. since he finally got enough. Exactly. Who's getting an opportunity to be the 2 guard for this team and absolutely been going off. Like you got to and even with even with Paul George, who's like in and out of the lineup in his own right, Paul George can still play. He can still give you 20 to 25 a night. So it's like, what are we doing? I mean, if I'm the Philadelphia, like if I'm the Sixers, and I keep going like this at this route, you have to legit start thinking about the future. And you got to start thinking about the future without Joel Embiid. I think if it gets to a point where they're just like completely out of that out of the playoff race, you gotta take calls for Joel Embiid. You gotta take calls for Paul George. If you're completely out of the race by say All-Star break before the trade deadline, I'm seriously considering taking calls for both of those guys because those are guys on rosters trying to win championships. And if they're not doing anything, what do you do?
What's the point of keeping them if this is the results that you're going to get? What, sell
Right.
tickets? Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's Philadelphia. It's a big market. But at the same time, Philly wants to win. They don't want – and that's a great sports town. And shout out to our guy, Broad Sports. Loves his Philadelphia teams, his 76ers.
I'll be back, y'all.
No problem, BRF. His Phillies. But at the same time, man, he'll be the first to tell you he's not pleased or satisfied with what he's seeing with his 76ers. So they're going to have to do something. But like I said before, man, it has a lot to do with the organization. Because, again, you've created this mess by bringing in all these players, and you've allowed this type of behavior from Joel Embiid. Because how great he is as a talent, you don't mind him being late. And the reason why it's easy is because the 76ers are losing. They're at this point. If the 76ers were the top 2, top 3 seed in the Eastern Conference champ, I don't believe you would hear this report from Shams. Now that they're losing, it explains. And again, this is not to defend or justify Marcus Hayes. What Marcus Hayes, the columnist, wrote about Joel Embiid mentioning his late brother and son, inexcusable. That being said, it does give credence to Joel Embiid not being the professional that he's supposed to be. Harrison, what are your thoughts?
I got no comment, but like I'm just imagining them tanking for Cooper Flag and just imagine this trio: Joel Embiid, Jared McCain, and Tyrese Maxey.
You could have thought about it like 7 years ago. Remember, Harrison, they had the number 1 overall pick. They could have drafted Jason Tatum, but instead they decided to go with Markelle Fultz in 2017. I know.
Oh yeah, that's the guy from the University of Washington.
Yeah, I was there. I was there at the time of that draft. And for whatever reason, it just didn't work out. The shot selection, I mean, it just didn't work out. But fortunately for him, he was able to go elsewhere, and he was able to be a solid contributor. I think it was Orlando. But this is really disappointing for Philadelphia. But Harrison, I'm gonna let you go first on this one. Back to football.
Okay.
Your former quarterback.
I was not done with the Sixers situation. But like, listen, can we please stop the hate on Jared McCain, please? Can we just please stop? Like, it's honestly, it's been going on for just because the man dances and does his TikToks and stuff like that. He can still shoot. He can still play some good basketball. He had a 30 bomb against the Nets, and they're now 3-12, even though it looked like they're tanking.
He scored 30 points, 6 of 11 from 3.
Like, please stop the hate. I'm just gonna say this right now. Please stop the Jared McCain hate, the Maverick. Stop hating on this guy. All right, go ahead, BSB. My fault.
No, it's all good. But I will let you go first on this one. We're gonna get BRF back in. Yeah, actually, let's see. Move here. There you go. BRF, you there?
I'm here.
All right, perfect.
Can you hear me?
No, we can hear you. I just want to make sure. All right, good. Let's talk about big news in the NFL. Daniel Jones.
Oh man.
after the Giants last Sunday, they decided to put Daniel Jones at fourth string and put Tommy Cutlets, as the starter. They put him at fourth string. Then he was on the scout team as a safety. And to make matters even more shocking, the New York Giants decided to release Daniel Jones. I'm going to read you a statement from John Mara, the Giants president. This is what John Mara said on the release of Daniel Jones. Daniel came to see me this morning and asked if we would release him. We mutually agreed that would be best for him and for the team. Daniel has been a great representative of our organization, first class in every way. His handling of the situation yesterday exemplifies just that. We are all disappointed in how things have worked out. We hold Daniel in high regard and have a great appreciation for him. We wish him nothing but the best in the future. This is I got to be honest with you, I'm not really surprised that Daniel Jones asked to be released, because when you saw the press conference or the statement that he made after when the Giants announced that Tommy DeVito was going to be the starter, he would be fourth string, and then being put on safety on the scout team, that tells you all you need to know. He was just done. He had enough with the Giants organization. Look, this is on the New York Giants, because in 2019, you wanted to draft a quarterback. It was either him or rest his soul, Dwayne Haskins Jr., rest his soul. You decided to go with Daniel Jones with the 6th overall pick because he played at Duke, and the head coach at the time, David Cutcliffe, who worked with the Mannings and has a relationship with the Mannings. So I believe the only reason why Daniel Jones was drafted by the New York Giants was because of Cutcliffe and Cutcliffe's relationship with the Mannings. And the Giants felt like this could be the guy to be the successor to one Eli Manning. And you look at Daniel Jones throughout his career. I mean, he struggled early on with turnovers. 2022, first year with Brian Daboll as the head coach, they were able to make the playoffs, won a playoff game against the Minnesota Vikings. And then after that, they gave him the 4-year, $160 million contract, which, by the way, smart on Daniel Jones' part, because, hey, you're coming off a playoff year. You won a playoff game. No one expected much from you. And the Giants idiotically did not pick up his 5th-year option. Had you picked up the 5th-year option, you wouldn't have to pay Daniel Jones all that amount of money, but you did. And now, this is on the Giants. At some point during the season, Daniel Jones was going to be yanked out, and they were going to put in Tommy Cutlets, Tommy DeVito. And yes, it is exciting because Tommy DeVito is Italian. You know, New Jersey, New York, the Italian, a lot of Italians who live around there. It's great. It's going to be entertaining. It's going to be fun for Giants fans to enjoy. But for Daniel Jones, man, I think it's about enough. What I hope for Daniel Jones is that he ends up having the same type of trajectory as Baker Mayfield. Sorry, Harrison, I hate to bring this up, but with Carolina, he did ask for a release from the team. Then he ended up going to the Los Angeles Rams for a little bit. Hey, what better way to rejuvenate your career with Sean McVay? And then where he is right now at Tampa. Last year, he took the team to the playoffs, had a career high in passing yards, had a career high in touchdown passes, able to get the Buccaneers to the playoffs, won a playoff game, and has proven he's a good enough quarterback. And so far he is. 24 touchdown passes, only 9 interceptions, proven this is the type of quarterback that we could go forward with. We can have him around. I hope for Daniel Jones, he can go somewhere where an organization can believe in him, help him, coach him, and at the same time, he's willing to do his part. New York Giants, man, you stuck with this mess. I don't. You might as well just tank for the rest of the season, and good luck trying to get a Shador Sanders or a Cam Ward. That is if you're going to tank for the rest of the season, because there's some other teams that need a quarterback in this draft. But to me, Harrison, this is more to do with the New York Giants and their mess. Look, some people can look at Daniel Jones as weak in this situation, but hey, I
Right.
can't blame him in this situation because look, they don't believe in him. He's had enough with the organization. You can say he wasn't the best guy at first to begin with, but at the same
Right.
time, if you're the Giants, you brought him there. So Harrison, I'm gonna let you go first because I know he played at Duke. What are your
Yeah.
thoughts about the whole thing?
I mean, as a Duke fan, it's sad. It's just disappointing to see this guy like struggle. I mean, he's been through so many different head coaches, so many offensive coordinators. I mean, it's just been really terrible for him, and I'm glad that I don't know how much cap money they just wasted it on Daniel Jones. I think it was a lot. I think it was like 20 or 40,
I'll look it up
42,
for you.
42 million.
47. I was trying to sound it out. My bad. I didn't want to interrupt you while you was talking.
No, go ahead. No, $47 million. I mean,
Yeah, dead hit. Yeah.
it's just like I don't want to give up on him yet. As a Duke fan, like I don't want to give up on him just because of like Jameson Crowder, Daniel Jones, Graham Barton. Yeah, we don't have like a lot of Duke football players, but basketball's a different story. But we don't have the Duke players that we had in football. But listen, put me on the big screen, PS. Put me on solo, PSP.
All right, just be careful.
Now I got you. Daniel Jones, I love you. Yeah, I know you're a Charlotte native for life. You know what I'm saying? But I think what will happen, this is a what if. What happens if you go to the Dallas Cowboys and beat your former team?
Oh my god.
I mean, champ, we've seen this. We've seen it before. We've seen this. I've seen this on TikTok before. But Daniel Jones,
Mm.
your career is not over yet. I still have full faith in you that you can turn your career around. We've seen that from Baker Mayfield before. But Daniel Jones, don't give up just yet. You're still young. I don't know how old you are. You're probably 26 years old. You still got a lot of time.
27.
27. Oh, close enough. You're 27 years old. Don't give up. You still have a lot of hope left. Just don't quit. Just don't quit. All right, that's all I'm gonna say. But it just sucks as a Duke fan because I don't want to give up on this guy whatsoever.
BRF.
Wow. And the crazy thing is people's actually throwing that idea out there. Can you imagine him being the starting quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys going up against the New York Giants on Thanksgiving? Could you imagine that? Could you imagine? Could you imagine that?
Actually,
The
it's not
drama.
surprising. It's not surprising. You know why? Jerry loves box office and ratings. He wouldn't mind that.
Oh man. But oh god, the drama would just be endless if Daniel Jones was to go out that route. But I mean,
Talk about
hey, but
reality
I'm with you.
for you.
Oh boy, a big reality check. That'd be a huge slap in the face if he was to just go to Dallas and beat them like that. You can't get no worse than that. But I don't really hold anybody responsible but the New York Giants organization and the front office. They're the ones most to blame for this because it's the fact that you gave him that extension, knowing you had a fifth year option that you could have picked. You could have, like you said, you could have picked up. You give him one more year, and then he follows 2019 up with that horrific. He follows it up with the 2020 or whatever, and or like you go to the playoffs. You beat Minnesota. Nobody was expecting you to do that, and then You give him the contract, and it's like, man, you gave up this money instead of Saquon Barkley, and like, well, it's like, what are we doing? You pick up the fifth year option. I mean, it would have been so much simpler. You pick up the fifth year option. You give Saquon his money, and you might not be in this situation. And yeah, I'm watching SmackDown too. I'm trying not to look and stare at it because this is a huge moment going on right now. Paul Heyman just returned. So,
Oh,
but anyways,
okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah,
I
Heyman,
can understand because Champ's eyes were starting to look a little bit colorful.
bro, mine lit up too when I heard the ladies and gentlemen. I'm like, wait a minute, okay, I'm gonna have to watch that, and I'm gonna have to watch it in its entirety. But focusing back on the topic, but yeah, I hold nobody responsible for this but the New York Giants organization because they should have thought this through before they gave Daniel Jones that contract. I mean, you kind of had to look at it as kind of a more of like an anomaly, like just one of those. Okay, you struck lightning in the bottle once. Like, is it really gonna? You really think you're gonna get it again? And then it's like the regression came back, and then Kenny kind of turned into what he was outside of the one playoff year. So I hold nobody responsible for the New York Giants. And I mean, oh my God. Okay, backhand. Um, I don't. Daniel Jones in this situation has two options. He can either go to a bottom team, go be the starting quarterback, go play, earn your money somewhere else, go to a bad team, or go to a team trying to get to a playoffs, be a backup, and just soak in, watch that guy work, soak in as much as you can, and just kind of like become better as a professional, as a player, as a quarterback, just all of that. And for Daniel Jones' sake, I would rather him pick the latter. But but Daniel Jones is a competitor. He's a competitor, and he's gonna want to go out there and compete. That's why, honestly, the Dallas Cowboy idea, it even though I wouldn't want it, see it, it just makes for interesting television. And now I'm just kind of thinking about I'm thinking about what is he gonna do, and it does bring some heat here, it brings some drama, and I'm interested to see what he's gonna do. But I do wish him well. I hope it's not the end of him. I mean, I hope to see that trajectory as far as like leaving the bad squad and then going to a better squad and maybe kind of picking your game up. I do kind of want to see that trajectory come out of him because I do think there's talent there. There is talent there. He's got arm strength. He can obviously run. He's a really talented runner as a quarterback. So I mean, it's not like the talent isn't there. He's got some talent there. Maybe he just needs a better situation. The Giants is definitely not it. So I mean, just one of these things I'm definitely going to keep an eye on. I'm definitely going to keep an eye on and see what he does. But because the talent's there, I think he just needs a better situation.
Yeah, he better hope he has a head coach who can work with him, like a Sean McVay or an Andy Reid or something like that. But undisputed world champ. What are your thoughts about the whole thing with Daniel Jones?
Number one, BRF. It was written, and Flash was absolutely right. You and both Flash, but we'll get to that tomorrow. Look.
Oh, and
Number
by the way,
one,
I'm sorry. Please go check out Champ's podcast tomorrow night, y'all.
I appreciate that. That is awesome. You're awesome.
Anytime.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That is awesome.
New
Oh,
new night Saturday night 9 Easter time, y'all.
Check
Y'all
it
do
out.
that.
yes, indeed. I appreciate that, PSP man. Thank you for everything. Oh man. Look. Um, this is exactly what happens when you chase up behind when you play your cards wrong. You got a good deck, but you picked the wrong card. Your franchise player is right now at your division rival, having an MVP caliber season.
Mm-hmm.
Let me say that again. Your franchise player, Saquon Barkley, is out there having a MVP season with your division rival, and they have the best record in the league right now. Outside, well, in the NFC, I will say.
Outside of Detroit.
Outside of Detroit. So, hey, in the great words of Trey Songz, you fumbled. Number two, I don't put all of this blame on Daniel Jones, man. Number one, he has had, much like Baker Mayfield, he's had his share of head coaches. Joe Judge was not the best coach. You know, if you remember that press conference that he had, he said that he doesn't have to be a motivator because you get a check every week. I'll never forget he said that. And I think that proved to be his downfall. Then you brought in Brian Daboll. But, you know, Brian Daboll, he did his best to work with him because of the work he did with Josh Allen. But unfortunately, Daniel Jones is not Josh. Organize what they want to do. They can't pinpoint the things they would like to do. Right now, the bright spots that are on this team is the running back and Malik Neighbors and that defense. So you got to build upon that. I will say this, though. Let's not give up on these quarterbacks too soon, man. We've seen way too many times in history that a quarterback may not succeed one place, but he'll go another place and he will succeed. Hell, you saw that with one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time with Johnny Unitas. People don't understand this. Johnny Unitas got cut by the Pittsburgh Steelers. And he was working construction before he went and played for the Baltimore Colts. Jim Zorn was cut by the Dallas Cowboys and became a Pro Bowler for the Seattle Seahawks. Jim Plunkett, the best example. Not only did he not succeed in New England, but he failed in San Francisco. He goes to Oakland, wins 2 Super Bowls. Tommy Maddox, drafted high overall to be the heir apparent to John Elway. He ends up getting so bad where he goes to the Arena League, comes back, leads the Pittsburgh Steelers to the playoffs. And the latest example, Baker Mayfield, OU, shout out to PSP and my boy Cal. And look what Baker Mayfield's doing now. Granted, the team is not doing very good because they don't have any defense right about now, and they're missing Chris Godwin and the great Mike Evans. But look at how far Baker Mayfield has come since his days in Cleveland. When similarly to Daniel Jones, he had a revolving door at the head coaching position, had a franchise in disarray, clearly doesn't have a lot of directions, not holding on to their best player and protecting their best assets. It's crazy. But like I said, when you invest too much in quarterbacks, in the great words of Peter King, one of the greatest writers that Sports Illustrated ever employed, when you invest too much in your quarterback, you're going to die a lot more than you're going to live. You're going to die a lot more than you're going to live. And you're going to die on some bad heels because everybody and their mom knows that Saquon should have gotten that huge contract. He was the heart of that team. He was what made that offense flow. But instead, right now, you at the payphone calling Tyrone and looking at the Philadelphia Eagles saying, darn, that could have been me. That could have been me. You haven't done anything since Tom Coughlin left, ironically. And so, hey, you got to get some order within that franchise because guess what? This is not going to cut it. But like I said, you fumbled the bag when you let Saquon go. And my thing is this. It would just be such poetic justice if he wins the MVP and wins the Super Bowl in the same year. And, hey, you might get food if you come from out of town. But it looks like New York got food this time.
And I'm telling you right now, man, with Daniel Jones, I mean, if you look at his career as a starter, 24, 45, and 1. But I think, look, I think he'll be fine. The question is, which team will take him? That's the thing. I mean, which team that is actually going to be out there and actually take a shot on Daniel Jones?
LA,
Okay.
Can I take a guess?
the Rams.
I mean,
Wonder if they want to still keep
no.
Matthew Stafford.
I mean, let him learn behind Matthew Stafford, just like
No,
Baker
no,
Mayfield.
they got your Georgia boy, Stetson Bennett.
I mean, look, he had no.
Sorry.
Remember. No. You're not lying. You're not lying. But the thing is, remember, they had. Remember, the two quarterbacks that are in the running for comeback player of the year still is Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold. Remember, they had both of them out there. They had both of them at one point.
Where you want him to go, champ? You want Daniel Jones to Cleveland?
No.
Okay.
No, that's just like
I mean, the rate.
That's just like look. That's just like dropping an atomic bomb into a gas tank. Don't do that. Don't do that to that young man. No.
If I had to, I'd probably say the Raiders, the Cowboys.
I would say the Rams.
Yeah, the Rams. That'd be a good option for.
Or look, Brock Purdy needs a backup right about now because I don't think that Kyle Shanahan trusts any of those guys behind him.
I mean, if we think about it, because look at Sam Darnold now, because he was with Sam Darnold was with the 49ers too, and guess what?
Well,
Minnesota.
Honestly, look at the San Francisco 49ers. Brock Purdy just got announced he's not playing. Brandon Allen starting.
Yeah, Brandon Allen.
Daniel Jones could go to San Francisco right now and be the starter with Brock Purdy out.
Time out, real quick. I don't mean to interrupt. When did this happen?
I sent it on the group chat.
PSP sent on the group chat. This happened today.
I must have missed it because of the Daniel Jones situation. So
you been freebasing or something?
No. You know what? PSP, you like my brother, man. You love stealing my lines.
Listen, you told me with the pipe bombs. I mean, I'm good with the pipe bombs, man. I told you about the Clinton one, but that's the story for another day.
But yeah, I didn't realize that had happened. Is he did he hurt a hamstring or something?
His shoulder.
Okay. And that's a concern right there. But you know what? I was thinking San Francisco for Daniel Jones or maybe Miami. Put him with a Mike McDaniel. Put him with you're doing what you're doing with Tua. Daniel Jones has more athleticism.
Yeah.
I mean, that wouldn't be bad, but I would put him with a good offensive-minded coach, somebody that's proven. I would love to see him back up, go out there to San Francisco or LA,
Mike McDaniel's not shabby, Chip. And plus, he can incorporate. Mike McDaniel ain't shabby as a play caller offensively. Mm-hmm. And plus, he knows that Daniel Jones can run some read option, spread option. Daniel Jones can run the football. Mm-hmm. Mike McDaniel can incorporate that.
Yeah, I agree. But I would, like I said, it's just a little bit of the whole proven thing. I know that, Kyle Shanahan is kind of proven. His rap sheet is kind of proven. He can kind of make people don't like to give Kyle Shanahan credit, but made it to a Super Bowl with Jimmy G. Being Brock Purdy, you haven't made it to the Super Bowl with a lot of Hall of Fame caliber quarterbacks. Let's just keep it all the way 100. And now Sam Darnold's doing good up there in Minnesota. Or either I would love to see him at LA. And like I said, I know Stetson Bennett is kind of, working his way back up. But, like I said, he had his issues. That's like he had to take a year off. Right. I don't think he's quite ready as of yet. Now, we saw what he could do in that huge comeback in that preseason game against the Cowboys, but I think that he needs a little bit of seasoning before he's the old Stetson Bennett again, especially with, some of the problems that he went through in the offseason.
And what's so good that the 49ers are just struggling and probably not making the playoffs, and I freaking love it because, man, the 49er fans are getting so annoying recently.
All right, so, Champ, I'm gonna put you on the fire on this one. Because it's regarding two quarterbacks. If I gave you a choice between Daniel Jones or Desmond Ridder, which one you rolling with?
Oh, God.
I'm going with Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones, look, we can say all we want to about Daniel Jones. He's very, and I'm going to be kind, he's very, he's very, very
I'm asking you
Unorthodox.
this not because I know it's Daniel Jones, but I'm
Yeah.
asking you this because again, we all know you said about Desmond Ritter. He couldn't pass gas even if you fed him refried beans.
All
That's
night
how
long.
that's little no faith you have in Desmond Ritter, particularly last year when he couldn't even beat Harrison's Panthers in a game
Yeah.
in which the Falcons were the favorites in that one.
And we
Scored
held
nothing
them
but
to
field goals.
we held them to 9 points and couldn't score one touchdown in the Monsoon Bowl. But yeah, Daniel Jones. But I don't think it's over for Daniel Jones, man. Like I said, man, a lot of these quarterbacks are very, very underdeveloped. They're not developed properly in this league at this point in time. And Tom Brady was absolutely right. They're not developed at this point in time. They're just throwing these guys out there and on a whim with no talent, without the proper coaching, without the proper development, without the proper pieces in the front office. So, and you saw how ridiculous that franchise was when they didn't retain Saquon Barkley, who was a huge safety net for Daniel Jones during that playoff run.
Absolutely.
So when you put guys like that in crazy situations, nothing but bad things is gonna happen. I mean, think about, I hate to bring this up. Think about Bryce Young down there in Carolina with David Tepper. Think about a lot of these guys, who are, think about Justin Fields and what he went through in Chicago. And look at what Caleb Williams is going through right now.
Yeah, we can see the offensive line.
I mean, that offensive
line is freaking god
hey,
awful.
Look, Chicago, sign me to like a one-day contract, man, and feed me one of them deep and send me about 2 of them deep dish pizzas to my room. I'll show up on time. Because I can do better than that right now. So,
Mr. World Champ, you know what's crazy that remember we fired Bryce Young fired Dennis Allen, and also now we the Panthers should kind of release Daniel Jones just because we actually beat them in Germany. I mean,
but
Bryce is just like that. I think he's like the devil. He's just trying to fire everyone left and right. Jeez. He's putting everyone on fire. He's like bang, 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 bang.
But I think he can. Like I said, San Francisco, because bang, 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 Niner game is pew pew right now. And
I'm so glad they're struggling.
I think that LA will be a good too.
All right, but speaking of a young quarterback, Anthony Richardson had a big performance against the New York Jets. Colts won that one 28-27, 20 of 30, over 200 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, 1 on the air, 2 on the ground. Look, I said it, and I picked the Colts over the Jets because I think with Anthony Richardson, this has to work out. It worked out with Bryce Young sitting and learning behind Andy Dalton. If you can't sit and learn behind Joe Flacco, and if you can't capitalize off of it, I don't know what to tell you. And he's in a better situation than Bryce Young because not much to brag about. He has better weapons. Obviously, he has a better running game. Jim Irsay, he's not really the most likable owner in the world, but he's a lot better than David Tepper. And Anthony Richardson, he should be at best the second best quarterback in that division. Considering where Trevor Lawrence is at this point, and Champ, you said it before with Trevor Lawrence, we don't need to regurgitate that. Considering how you feel about Will Levis, the Mayo man, Anthony Richardson at best should be the second best quarterback. Now, the Colts, they still have a chance to still win the division. Because even though Houston, we still believe Houston will win that division, Houston, they've dealt with injuries. Stephon Diggs is out for the rest of the season with a torn ACL. Tank Dell's not having the type of season last year. Nico is coming back. They've had injuries. Houston, yes, they beat the Dallas Cowboys. But again, we saw them last weeks before against the Detroit Lions, in which they blew a 16-point lead, in which Jared Goff threw 5 interceptions in that game. So I don't know what type of Houston Texans we're going to see, but with Anthony Richardson, it's an example why there's nothing wrong with drafting a young guy in sitting and learning. If they're not ready, fine. Just because you sit and learn for like a year or two, that's not an indictment. Look, it worked for Patrick Mahomes to sit a year behind Alex Smith. It worked for Aaron Rodgers to sit for 3 years behind Brett Favre. Even though he's thrown every interception in every game so far this season, Jordan Love is still one of the ascending young quarterbacks in the NFL. So there's nothing wrong with sitting and learning. Just because you draft a quarterback right away doesn't necessarily mean you have to start him right away. And that's the problem that we have with these quarterbacks. We put them on a pedestal. We have like so many expectations for them. There's nothing wrong with sitting and learning. But what I saw from Anthony Richardson, he showed you a glimpse of what he can be. He just needs to do it more consistently. If he can play like this more consistently, Colts still have a good enough chance to still compete in that division, or who knows, make the wild card spot. Still not over yet. There's still some football left, but they got to remain hopeful. So BRF, I'm gonna let you go. What were your thoughts about Anthony Richardson's performance? And we will get into the Jets in just a second, because Lord knows you, Champ, and I would know because I live in Jersey, have a lot to talk about regarding the New York Jets.
I was very pleased with Anthony Richardson's performance against the Jets because it was the throwing the football. It was the accuracy. I mean, we know the brother could run. I mean, he's one of the most talented running quarterbacks we've seen in a while. We know he could run the ball, but the biggest question with Anthony Richardson is his ability to throw the ball and being accurate. And he showed that against the Jets. I can't remember his stat line, but he was pretty accurate against the Jets. He did his thing. So I was very pleased with the performance. I mean, you hope that him sitting down as long as he did behind Joe Flacco, you hope that he was just soaking up everything like a sponge. And then once he got his job back, and once he got back out there, he'd be able to take that information, relay it to the field, and become a better processor, become a better processor as far as like reading the defenses, and just being able to handle himself better as far as throwing the football and improving his accuracy. I mean, dude's been basically like 40 some odd percent as a passer all year. That is just way unacceptable. Way unacceptable. 50's bad. He's in the 40s. That's terrible. Like 42%. That's terrible. That is beyond terrible. So I was happy with his performance. I was happy to see that team kind of come together like that with him being back in the lineup to get that win on the road. That was huge for them to get that win on the road. And he played his butt off. Like, I mean, he scored that game-winning touchdown on that run in the red zone, and he made the plays that needed to be made to win that game. So shout out to Anthony Richardson for being able to come back and make plays the way he did. I hope he can take that experience from being on the bench and just take it with him, and hopefully build a really good career out of this, because I do feel like, even though I know Champ talked about it a lot, like the raw projects, the raw talents, you can see he's shown glimpses of what he can be. He's shown glimpses, whether it's the deep ball, what just his ability to carry the team on his back when they need him. He's shown glimpses of being the face of that franchise. He just got to take it with him and put it out there game in and game out, and ultimately become that guy. Because I also feel one of the biggest things that really set him back was that press conference, or with that interview where he said he pulled himself out because he was tired. That was definitely not the look you needed to give.
Not to mention that podcast in which he said that the NFL was easier than college.
Yeah, which was crazy to me. Like, NFL easier than college, man. You got linebackers running as fast as you, being a quarterback. Like, let's humble yourself. Let's humble yourself a little bit. I mean, anybody can kind of show up and do well at the beginning of your career when they don't have film on you, when they don't have nothing to gauge you on. But after that first season after those first few games and they got a little film on you and they see what you're good at and what you're not good at, good defensive coordinators and good defensive teams are going to know how to attack you. And they started doing that with him. That's why you see the accuracy being so bad, knowing basically you take the run away from him and you take the deep ball away from him and you make him try to throw intermediate passes. He's not good yet. And he showed that. He's not a good intermediate passer yet. But I think the work is there and it can be done. And I do think there is at least something there with Anthony Richardson to become a very good quarterback in this league, even though he is still a raw talent. I do think there's something there. I think there is a foundation that's been built for him. Now it's just a matter about laying the rest of the brick and becoming the quarterback he can be. So that was a really good performance. That was a really good first performance from coming off of the bench. He just has to maintain that and do that week in and week out because as crazy as it sounds, the Colts can sneak away that division. As crazy as that sounds.
I don't think it's crazy because if you look at it, BRF, man, the Houston Texans and Champ and I, we had a lot of expectations for the Texans prior to the season. They've regressed, and that's because of the injuries. And look, the Colts, they are talented. They have a really good, talented team. They can run the football. They can. They got some nice pieces with Alec Pierce, Michael Pittman. Anthony Richardson just needs to play more consistent. If he plays more consistent, the Colts have a better chance of being the team that they can be. And look, him sitting behind Joe Flacco, it better be like this glass. This glass better be filled. That's how much knowledge Anthony Richardson should have while he was sitting on the bench behind Joe Flacco, just like you mentioned about the sponge analogy. I hope for Anthony Richardson, he understands and he becomes more aware, bro, the NFL is a different cat than college. Far different cat, not just physically, mentally. So, Champ, what are your thoughts about Anthony Richardson?
I was impressed. I'm very, very impressed. But the thing is, we got to keep in mind he was playing the New York Jets. I want to see what you're going to do in the prime of adversity this coming Sunday when you play them Detroit Lions.
Ooh.
I want
Oh,
to see.
Jesus Christ.
I want to see how you're going to conduct yourself now that you're playing up to the competition. You're not playing down. We all know New York is at this rate. Now, granted, I will say this: you got to play the team that's in front of you. And New York Jets, for all their dysfunction, they have some hell of a defensive players there. So taking nothing away from them. But I want to see what happens when you play a championship caliber team and the spotlight is put on you and it's glaring. How are you going to react to that after coming off of that good game? Are you going to build that momentum? Even if you lose, are you going to build towards that momentum or are you going to fold once again? I was impressed with his performance, and that performance showed that he didn't take the loss personally. He had amnesia when it came to his mistakes and, the things that he'd done, and he showed a lot of resilience. But what I want to do, I want to make sure that you know exactly I want to see where your head is at when you got Jadarius Smith coming at you at Mach 5. When you have to keep up with these guys in order to win. When the pressure is being put on you as a quarterback in order to keep up with Jared Goff in that offense. Because you have, whether you want to admit it or not, you have the capabilities in order to do that. You have a good running game. You have some decent receivers. You have a comparable offensive line. You have a pretty decent defense. And you have Shane Steichen, who basically made Jalen Hurts into an MVP candidate. Granted, Jalen's doing good this year, but we saw him regress last year without him. We saw you have a Shane Steichen that can whisper to a quarterback. So I want to see what you're going to do against the Detroit Lions. Hell of a performance what you did this past Sunday against the Jets. Outdueling Aaron Rodgers and, leading your team to a victory and being the focal point of that victory. But I want to see what you do against a defense and somebody who's organized. Anybody can do it. Anybody can do it when when you're facing bad competition. New York Jets are in disarray. But I want to see what's going to happen when you go out there and these young men opposite of you are just as organized, if not more. Did you bring your lunch to work, or are they going to take it from you and eat it?
Harrison?
I mean, it's the Jets. I mean, I'm not surprised. I mean, does this game really count?
I mean, you face according to what the competition, according to your schedule.
I mean, okay, I'm not gonna deny that they won the game, but like I'm just saying, like it's the Jets. I mean, they're dysfunctional. Like Champ said, they're dysfunctional. Let's just see what they can do against that Lions defense, because I know they play against a bad team called the Jacksonville Jaguars. They light them up. Like they light them up like a firework. But let's see what Anthony Richardson could do against that Lions defense. But I'm still not. I mean, he played good, but like I'm just still wants to see a lot more from him.
All right, so you're not sold on Anthony Richardson.
Not sold on him yet.
All right, let's talk about the New York Jets. 3-8 this season. New York, I mean, Champ, you're going to have to go back to them TikTok videos. What the hell going on in Miami, or what the hell going on in New York City, man? Because apparently they've been free basing, because I don't know what they've been doing. Have they been sipping on the yak? Have they been sipping on the Henny? Because I don't know what is going on in New York City. I don't know what's going on with the Jets. Apparently, Aaron Rodgers and them, they've been using ayahuasca for all I know. But 3-8 this season. They fired Robert Saleh. Now they fired the GM, Chris Douglas, right?
Joe Douglas.
I'm sorry, Joe Douglas. They fired Joe Douglas. They traded to get Devontae Adams. They've acquiesced to Aaron Rodgers. And they are 3-8 this season. BRF, Champ, remember months ago, we did an episode, and I came up with the topic, Aaron Rodgers or Kirk Cousins. Which quarterback would we rather go forward with? All of us, and it was unanimous, Kirk Cousins over Aaron Rodgers. That is in no way of saying that Kirk Cousins is a better quarterback than Aaron Rodgers. But for the season, for context, folks, season, because I hate when y'all go on IG and just go on them short clips and just react whatever. For the season, Kirk Cousins has said and done all the right things. No controversies with Kirk Cousins. And he is still playing well. And the Atlanta Falcons should win the NFC South Division. As with Aaron Rodgers, yes, I get it. Just like Kirk Cousins, he is coming off the ruptured Achilles. But boy, all them off season, him not spending enough time with the wide receivers, him not doing and saying all the right things, man. This is why he's only managed to win one Super Bowl. And look, Aaron is a great quarterback, all-time great quarterback. I don't know if you, Champ, or BRF, or and shout out to our guy Flash. He is a way worse leader than Brett Favre. Way worse leader than Brett Favre. Brett Favre, even though he had his diva tendencies, him retiring, unretiring, and all this other stuff, Aaron Rodgers is just far worse. And outside of football, people are just interested to hear what Aaron Rodgers has to say regarding things that are not related to football. So, hey, the Jets, you made your bed, you lay in it. This speaks on you, Woody Johnson, the owner. The Jets organization, Basura, at this very moment, they are Basura. As Charles Barkley said, they are terrible. That's how bad they are right now, man. It is so bad in New York and New Jersey, man. But Jets fans, stop buying Jets jerseys. Stop trying to think that you're actually going to compete for the playoffs. Y'all sounding more and more delusional like Dallas Cowboys. I can't stand y'all. Please Go to a bar, go to have some liquor or something, and go call it a day, man. Cause y'all need a bunch of prayer. Harrison, I know you got your finger up. What are you gonna say?
Please put me on the big screen.
Please
Yeah.
be careful.
I know, I got you. Aaron Rodgers. I know at the beginning of the season, you are a big concern in the first place after coming off out of an Achilles injury. I was concerned of you in the first. I don't know if you guys were about to make the playoffs in the first place. I know Jets fans. I have like 2 Jets fans. We're thinking about, oh, might get 10 wins. We might get 10 wins and make that division. You're 3. I can't remember your record because that record is so freaking bad.
3-8.
3-8, same thing. I don't remember. 3-8. You are the Godfather. You got Devontae Adams. Congratulations. Do you want a cookie? You got Alan Lazard. Congratulations. Do you want another cookie? And also you got Randall Cobb from last year. Do you want a cookie? And then he retired. Your O-line is garbage. Your defense is garbage. You fired your head coach, and he was the scapegoat for you. You are the Godfather. You are the next version of Donald Trump. I'm sorry, Rodgers. I think it's time to hang it up, pack your bags. What do you want to go? Do you want to be like Brett Favre? Like what you said, PSP? You're gonna be like Brett Favre? Like you probably going to the Minnesota Vikings because I don't know if Sam Darnold might be coming back. But at the same time, Rodgers, do you want to stay in New York or do you want to retire? But dude, I think it's time to hang it up, my guy. You had a great career. You're a Hall of Famer. I don't know first ballot. I don't care if you're a Hall of Famer. It doesn't matter. You had a great career, my guy. Listen, when you had like the 3 Hail Marys against, actually no, he had one this year, right? Against Buffalo. He had what? How many? So 2 in 2015, the other one in 2016 against the Giants, and the other Hail Mary was like this year against the Buffalo Bills. Listen, you're the Hail Mary master. I'll give you that. But at the same time, stop. It's time to stop. It's like that meme. It's time to stop. But my God, I just don't know why do you need one more player to add another cookie? Like, do you want David Bakhtiari? Because he's been working out a lot. I've been seeing on his Instagram stories. He wants to play with the Jets next year. I can see it in my eyes. I can see it in my eyes. Like, bro, Rodgers. I'm gonna say this once. I'm gonna say this 1,000s of times. Time to hang it up, my guy. You're 40 years old. You're trying to be like Tom Brady. You're trying to pass Tom Brady, but guess what? You're not Tom Brady. All right, now you guys can go.
BRF.
You reap what you sow. I mean, New York Jets, y'all asked for this, and you fired Robert Saleh. You made him the scapegoat out of all of this situation. When honestly, he wasn't the worst of the problem. He wasn't the biggest reason why y'all were struggling, and it just. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Whatever they get from this point on in the regular season, they asked for it. You got Robert Saleh fired. In all intents and purposes, you got Mike Williams traded. You got Devontae Adams in there. Somebody need to ask him how does it feel knowing that he's been bamboozled and run amok up in that organization. Because you leave the Vegas Raiders to go to the New York Jets, and you're putting up worse numbers with a quarterback. You're putting up worse numbers because there's no morale there, there's no motivation there, nobody's happy there. Y'all are a bad organization. Y'all are a very bad organization. And as far as like what they need to do after the season, it's time to restart. It's time to restart. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like you playing the PlayStation or the Dreamcast and you playing and you're getting tired of playing the same game over and over and over and over and over again. It's time to hit the reset button. It's time to hit the reset button. I mean, it is what it is. And basically, you pretty much started that by firing Joe Douglas. You pretty much started the reset by firing him. So yeah, that regime's now gone. Aaron Rodgers, I doubt he comes back for 2025. He either tries to go to a contending team who needs a quarterback, or he calls it quits. Knowing him with the ego he has, seeing how these last 2 years have transpired for him, I think he'll give it one more run because I think that's the ego in Aaron Rodgers. He's driven like that. I don't think he wants to go out. A guy like Aaron Rodgers doesn't want to go out like the way he looks this year, 2024. He don't want to go out like that. I think he's going to give it one more shot. And I mean, like everybody's saying, like Minnesota Vikings, honestly, as crazy as it sounds, would make the most sense, especially if they don't sign Sam Darnold and he goes elsewhere. Minnesota makes the most sense. How ironic he is having a Brett Favre career and he's the one that replaced him. I mean, it's ironic.
Like
But
father, like
yeah,
son.
just boy, it feels like it, don't it? It
Man,
feels like it,
bro.
and Son didn't like Father too much when they was on the same roster, so that kind of saying something too.
And
So
BRF, and to your point, BRF, not to cut you off, but remember, it was reported Woody Johnson suggested benching Aaron Rodgers after the loss to Denver.
after the week 4 game, I'm like, wow, Woody Johnson making a statement that makes sense. I think hell froze over when I read that statement. I'm like, Woody Johnson making sense? Oh my, like what is going on here? That was actually a pretty good suggestion. They probably should have thought about it. Because look where they're at now. Trash. Like capital T rash. Just horrible. Like the most disappointing team in the National Football League that had any bit of hype coming into the season. By far the most disappointing team in the league with any type of hype coming into this season. Because now you're looking at what do you do in the draft? I mean, you're probably gonna have to go get a quarterback. Who do you draft? Or the quarterback's gonna be happy to go there. I mean, they probably don't have a choice.
No.
But I mean, but it is what it is. No, they're not gonna be happy going to the New York Jets. But guess what?
Who
It
wants
is
to?
what it
First
is.
of all, who wants to play in New York? Who does? When you're in New York, you
I
are
mean,
big, right? But guess what? Your dreaming is a pile of crap. I'm sorry,
I
you
mean,
can't do it. No one, Shador Sanders or a Dylan Gabriel or Cam Ward. I'm sorry, you are going to be in a crappy situation, my guy. Same thing with the Jets. Whoever's going to be the general manager, you're going to be in a crappy situation. If you're a quarterback with the Jets as a backup, you're going to be in a crappy situation.
hey, I mean, hey, you're not wrong. And the crazier thing about it is he brought up Dylan Gabriel. Dylan Gabriel might be the one most affected this because I think as far as like draft stock, he's probably the one closest enough to probably going to end up with the New York Jets. So I hope I'm not putting an omen on him too soon. But hey, it's like I said, man. They're kind of getting what they asked for. I don't know why they thought firing the head coach midseason was just gonna just flip the switch and everybody was just gonna play better. Because at least with Robert Saleh, your defense was showing up week in and week out. Now they're not even doing that. And if I'm Robert, and the thing is, I love the position that Robert Saleh is in right now because teams are going to be calling him. One in particular, who I'm a fan of, who needs a defensive coordinator bad. So they're going to be teams that need a defensive coordinator. They're going to put Robert Saleh on the phone and willing to giving him a pretty nice check to be their defensive coordinator. Because you saw what he did with the San Francisco 49ers as their DC. They were perennially one of the top 5 defenses in the National Football League. So don't think he can't go nowhere and do it again with the defense, with the mind he has for defense. So I'm happy for Robert Saleh in this situation. I'm glad he's out the hellhole because they made him out to be the scapegoat, and it looked like it's like the problem's just kind of like it's like when you think you get rid of the problem, and then it's like everything else kind of rises to the top. It kind of shows itself. So they're getting everything they asked for, and couldn't happen to a better organization because they are a clown show to say the least.
Hey, BRF. Woody Johnson having logic is kind of like Arthur Smith having offensive logic. But hey, you never know.
Hey, Russell Wilson saving that bacon every week.
He is.
He didn't say
He
they're
is.
He's
bacon
saving. He's even that game
last
against
night.
Cleveland and that Snowboy. He's saving his. Oh, Arthur Smith lucky to have a Russell Wilson playing in his offense right now.
Champ, talk to me.
Hey, remember that defense was the cornerstone of that team. Everybody was talking about that defense.
That is correct.
Yeah. To quote a great man that I know, you don't know how hot it is until your shade tree is gone. Everybody got that big old shade tree in the front yard down south, and you sip lemonade up under that tree. Then one day, they cut that tree down. Now it's hot. Now that 103-degree weather feeling like 120. That's what it is for that Jets organization, man. And look, man, look. Hey, Devontae Adams, to quote the great Jay-Z, let's pray that arm candy that you left your ex for stay down and come in handy because it ain't looking good right about now. It ain't looking good. You went to that other side. You went to the other side of that fence, thought that grass was going to be green, and it's just as dead as Miss Parker's grass. So, you in trouble, Button. You are in trouble. And as far as them firing Joe Judge, look, Mr. Woody Johnson, you can fire the general manager. You can fire the groundskeeper. You can fire the man who sells popcorn. You can fire the man who sells the White Castle burgers when he walks down the aisle on the stadium on Sunday. You can fire anybody who you want to. That's not the problem. You drunk that Aaron Rodgers Kool-Aid and you sipped it and sipped it and sipped it, and now it's poisoning you and that organization. That's exactly what's happening. That's what's happening. Not to mention, y'all tried to serie up the O-line by drafting Olu Fashanu, and I commend you on that one. But, blaming Joe Judge, why are you blaming him? No, Joe Judge. Blaming
Joe Douglas.
Joe Douglas, blaming him. Why are you blaming him? He tried to get the offensive line right. He did his job. Aaron Rodgers asked for all of these pieces. He went and got them. He asked for Lazard. He asked for Devontae Adams before the season, got Mike Williams. When it was time to get Mike Williams up out of there, he got rid of him and everything. He did his due diligence if he did what he was told. Why are you firing him? And he brought some great pieces there. And he drafted a lot of these guys that are on this team. Why are you getting rid of him? Like I said, you can fire everybody from the groundskeeper to the guys who bake the burgers on stadium day. It's not going to solve that problem. It's not. You have to cut the snake by the head, and that is Aaron Rodgers. You got to get him out of that organization. And look, if you are really serious about revamping this franchise, get somebody with some credibility up in that front office and get somebody with some credibility as a coach and do something with them. Do something. You have not looked. This Jets team, it still has a hell of a lot of talented players on this team. A lot of talented players. And if they're used correctly, you can bring in a quarterback in this draft and they can get them at least to be a playoff contending team. There's a lot of, you're laughing, but there's a lot of talented guys on that team.
Oh, no, I'm not denying that. It's just like, I'm just imagining drafting like Jalen Milroe or like a Carson Beck. It's just like, it's
I wouldn't draft Carson Beck into the Army right about now. So
no, that's what I'm saying. I'm not laughing at your take though, Trev. I'm not denying that. It's just like I'm just scared of what the Jets are gonna do drafting a quarterback because they drafted a quarterback, Jordan Travis, and he's still trying to recover from that torn ACL that he got hurt against.
He broke his leg in half, dude.
Oh yeah, broke his leg in half. I don't know against who.
And because of the injury, a lot of people have brought up that was the fact that Florida State did not compete for the college football playoffs. But to your point, Champ, the Jets are talented. They have a loaded roster, but the problem is, like I said, they've acquiesced to Aaron Rodgers, and that's on Woody Johnson. This is what happened. We keep blaming the players, and yeah, players, they have to accept culpability because again, they do have huge egos. But so do the people in the top office. And you're willing to do whatever it takes to acquiesce in order to make those players happy. And what is it getting you as far as the results? What are you actually getting? Like Aaron Rodgers, like, okay, do you know that Zach Wilson last year, despite what y'all want to say about Zach Wilson, they had a better record with Zach Wilson at quarterback.
Yeah, I remember that. And my thing is, during that time, ironically, he had matured. He went from saying that he didn't fail his offense to saying, I need to play better, and putting it on him, not calling out receivers that ran the wrong route in the press and getting them traded. Look, it's only so many people that it's only so many bridges that you can burn before people go tell you to go jump in the lake. It's only so many of those bridges that you can burn before people say, hey, you might as well just go ahead, put your life jacket on and go on down there and start swimming because you're not coming over this bridge. You burn your bridges in Green Bay. Not only with McCarthy, but then you burned it with Matt LaFleur. Everywhere you go, there's a problem. And it was all fine and well when you was winning MVPs and going to the NFC Championship. But now, much like Antonio Brown, you're not doing that anymore. And guess what? Your talent is not on par with you being a diva. So now it's time to put you out the pasture and get you out of my organization so that I can let somebody young and somebody who's ready, willing, and able to do what this organization needs so that we can possibly get to a playoff next year.
Correct.
You fired Robert Saleh. Now that defense has went all the way down to the garbage.
Hey, Champ, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So how would you feel that if they bring back the former Jets head coach, Rex Ryan? How would you feel about that? Because I've been hearing about that recently.
I think Jets fans would like it, but at the same time, what is that going to do? We know what Rex can do.
I know, I'm just asking like a curious question. It's just because I've been hearing about that recently.
I mean, he's going to do what he can on the defensive side, but offensively, I mean, we saw what he was with the Jets when he had Mark Sanchez. I mean, the first 2 years they went to the AFC Championship, back-to-back seasons, and then years later he became the butt fumble. And then you brought in Tim Tebow, not to play quarterback. You asked him to play like different stuff. At one point, you even had Tim Tebow playing with the punt team.
If I can interject real quick, PSP.
Go ahead, Champ.
I don't think that's going to work.
I don't. I don't think it'll work. I think
been off the sidelines way too long.
How long has he been off the sideline?
Almost 10 years. And you saw
digits. God bless it.
Yes, you've been off the sideline for almost 10 years.
Is it really that long? Oh my God, I'm getting old. I'm getting old too.
After the Jets, he became the head coach for the Bills, and then that was it.
Then that was it. It's been almost 10 years. I was still boxing. I still had muscles when he was the coach. So the thing is this, and you saw what happened when these coaches come out of the podium, come out of the booth from TV announcing to now. I will say now, coaching. You saw what happened with John Gruden. Do you really want to repeat of that just to bring back a personality? Stop retreading these coaches. The call that you need to make New York is to Detroit.
For Ben Johnson?
Yes, exactly.
Oh my God, it's just like
you need to make that call to Ben Johnson. You need to make that phone call to Ben Johnson. And you need to call around and see if you can find a comparable general manager. And I would start my search. at that 49ers organization, because everything they have touched as far as the front office and their coaching staff has turned to gold. So guess what? I will pick up the phone and see who the 49ers have available in their executive office and, hey, see what they have going on. Because the thing is, right now, you are going to have to draft a quarterback. You're going to have to draft a quarterback. And you need an offensive coach in order to bring him along. You need Ben Johnson. So whether you draft Shedeur Sanders, Dylan Gabriel, or Cam Ward, you're going to need offensive presence. And you're going to need a new defensive coordinator to go along with that. I would look to the 49ers again and look. No, I don't think he's employed this year. I would go in free agency as far as coaching and look for Stephen Wilkes, the old coach for the Carolina Panthers.
I'm not trying to burst you. I don't think so, because I think that last time I've been checking, he's trying to work with the Charlotte 49ers the last time I checked. Okay. So I don't know. That's a good option. I think that's a good I think that was a good take. But I just don't know if he wants to pull the trigger, because the last time he's still trying to sue us over something that.
But Champ, I don't know. Ben Johnson to the New York Jets. I mean, you're gonna have to deal with Aaron Rodgers. I mean, yes, we know what he can do as far as an offensive mind, but how's he gonna deal with a guy like Aaron Rodgers?
He wouldn't have to, because if Mr. Johnson was smart, he would tell, look, we tried. The first year it didn't work. The second year, hey, I had to clean house. Aaron, you got to go. It's kind of like putting it's kind of like throwing the birds out of the nest. Hey, you got to go. I have to take control of my organization. This is my organization.
Correct.
And I have to get me a quarterback in here, and I have to get me a new regime in here before the rest of the division catches up with us, much like the NFC East caught up with the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, so I get it, champ. So if you're Woody Johnson, I'm gonna stay the hell out the way, and I'm gonna let you do whatever you see fit.
It's like David Tepper, for an example.
No, I'm talking about I'm gonna get Aaron Rodgers up out of there.
No, but I'm gonna bring get Aaron Rodgers up on out of here. But if you're gonna hire Ben Johnson, you're gonna have to allow him to do his job.
Yes, let him do his job. And like I said, you have the capability right now. You have some talented players on this roster. You have great offensive players. You have great defensive players. You need to bring in the right coaches, and you need to bring in the right general managers and people in the front office and the right coordinators. And you need to stand your ground and stay out of the way. I don't mind you as an owner being hands-on with front office things, but when you can't keep your nose out of, the coach's business, then you're meddling a little bit too much. And the Dallas Cowboys and the the Las Vegas Raiders are prime examples of what happened when the owner is too much in coach's business. They end up a laughing stock. But like I said, Mr. Johnson, if you're listening, you have a chance to really steal while this window is open, seize control of this franchise, and at least make them a playoff contender. Do not let Aaron Rodgers come back another year, clean house, make the call to Ben Johnson, make the call to the 49ers organization, and make that call to Stephen Wilkes so that you can get this team in gear. Those are two building blocks that I think can lead them to the playoffs next year. I don't know if it's going to be Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward or Dylan Gabriel or even Quentin Ewers that's going to be the Jets quarterback next year. But it needs to be a new quarterback, and they need to make that call to get Ben Johnson, and they need to get Stephen Wilkes, and they need to tune in to see who the 49ers organization has available as far as in the front office so they can pry them away from them, because everything the 49ers have touched has been gold.
My fault, champ, but what pick does the Jets have? The 7th?
I think they got the 5th as of right now, but
the 5th? Oh man, yeah, that'd be a good shot.
So yeah, you got a shot to get Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward or Dylan Gabriel, depending on where the cards fall. But you need to get somebody quick while this window is still open and while you still have a lot of these players under contract. Because of the few years, they're not going to be under contract.
question about it. All right, fellas, let's get into some NFL picks.
Woo!
First one. Unfortunately for you, Harrison, Chiefs at Panthers.
All right, you know what? Hold up. The script is ready. It's time to bring this guy into the promised land. BY9 is going to get us the win. BY9, the script is ready to go. Bryce Young is going to have himself a field day. Just kidding. I'm trolling right now. I'm sorry. No, actually, no. Screw that. Panthers win 30-27, game-winning field goal. Eddie Pinheiro, the most accurate kicker in NFL history. So, give me the Panthers, 30-27.
BRF and Champ?
Guts. Props. Y'all gonna lose by 20, but props nonetheless. I mean, you love a good upset. Patrick Mahomes gonna be a little upset after what happened in Buffalo. So don't be surprised if he has his best game of the season against Carolina Panthers. I'm talking like at least 350 yards. Just don't be shocked.
Okay, come on.
Don't be. I'm just telling. I'm telling you. I think there's some players that have a certain type of aura about them in terms of certain situations. I wouldn't want to be that team having to deal with Patrick Mahomes after a loss, the first loss of the year. That I just don't. So
You don't think this guy has aura? He had aura.
no, none at all. No, none at all. 34-10 Chiefs. No aura at all. None.
Champ?
Oh man, look, hey, you never want to deal with a person after they just got through with a heartbreak, and the Chiefs just got through with a heartbreak with Buffalo. So when Patrick Mahomes come down there and bust the clock, won't surprise me at all, and that is why I'm going to go with Patty Mahomes and the Chiefs. Now,
No,
it's going to be interesting to see.
No, take your shirt off. North Carolina, no, take your shirt off.
Not this time, man. I can look. You can lose. I'm gonna tell you this. You can lose a lot of money betting against Patrick Mahomes, and I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not losing any more money by betting against Patty Mahomes, man. As bad as I want to say upset, like I said, you never want to deal with a person after they just got through with a heartbreak. And they just got through with a heartbreak. And
so the streak comes to an end. The streak comes to an end.
Yeah, the streak is over, man. You know, y'all ain't the Undertaker. Y'all ain't the Undertaker, but you can be Edge.
All right, fair enough.
I got Chiefs. Next one, Cowboys at Commanders. Commanders are 10.5-point favorites. I will say this: if the Commanders lose this one, boy, I will have an awful lot to say. The keys for Washington to win this one, Dan Quinn. Dallas can't stop the run. You know that for a fact. Just put pressure on Cooper Rush. Just make him throw the football 50 times. They may try to use Trey Lance in read option, spread option plays, kind of like how Pittsburgh has been doing with Justin Fields, or with Cleveland with who's the quarterback, the backup quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, Dorian
Thompson Robinson.
Dorian Thompson Robinson.
DTR,
Dorian Thompson Robinson, DTR.
So don't be surprised if they use Trey Lance and read option, spread option, because again, they're not getting enough running game from Ezekiel Elliott or anyone from the Dallas Cowboys at this point. And for Washington offense, Cliff Kingsbury. To Champ's point, be very careful with Jaden Daniels, but at the same time, run the football. Be smart. You have Eckler. You have Brian Robinson Jr. When Jaden Daniels needs to run the football, run it. This should be a game that Washington should win, not just because it's the Dallas Cowboys, where they are at this point. Yes, they're decimated. Dak is out for the season. Defense has been colossal. But at the same time, you're coming off a 2-game losing streak. You're coming off tough losses against Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. You want to keep your playoff hopes alive, you got to win this one. And again, say what you want about the Dallas Cowboys at this point. It's still an NFC East. It's a rivalry game. Washington should win this one. If they lose, I will have an awful lot to say. Champ.
Washington. Like I said in an earlier video, live on this podcast, protect your greatest asset. But at the same time, you got to win this game. You got to win this game. Now they're gonna come out at you, but you got to win this game, Washington. And I want to see you win. On that note, the Commanders win it this week, and I think the board is unanimous. I don't think that.
Yeah,
I think the board is unanimous, Your Honor.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. PSP. They have no excuse to lose this game. They need to just basically PSP hit the nail on the head. Just do what brings you to the dance week in and week out. Run some more. Mix a little bit of passing up in there every so often. Just run the ball. And I'm gonna bring up another point that's kind of got me a little hot right here. Why the hell is Dante Fowler playing so well in Washington when he couldn't do that crap down here?
Oh yeah, I forgot to sign you guys before.
My God. I don't know what they got into because
Magic City.
I don't know what it was because when he was with the Rams, and then he got to Atlanta, he looked bad, and people were calling him an Aaron Donald merchant. And then he goes to Washington. Granted, they have good defensive tackles, but they're not on the level of an Aaron Donald, and he's just balling. So I look at that.
Hey, Dan Quinn, you told me he's coach of the year.
He's probably top 3 candidate. He's probably a top 3 candidate for coach of the year. This is one of those games. If I'm him on defense, I'm unleashing Dante Fowler Jr. in any which way possible to get as much pressure on whoever's playing quarterback for Dallas as possible, and just run that rock. I think this is going to be I think this should be a slow tempo game. I don't think they should really speed it up on Dallas because I look at it like Dallas, what did they have right now that could compete in an up-tempo game? I don't make this up-tempo at all. I slow the pace down, and I beat them down from first quarter to fourth quarter. Yeah, I got Washington winning this game. It's a slugfest, but it's going to be a dominating type of game.
All right. Unanimous, but Washington, you better win this one. All right. I think this is a unanimous one right here. Titans at Texans.
Like I said again, I think they're going to keep it close. So, I'll pick the Texans.
There's no mayonnaise in this coffee. We're going to pick the Texans.
Yeah, but it's going to be. I think it's going to be closer than what the experts think, though, because the Texans as a team hasn't shown me enough killer instinct to put a team like Tennessee away. So I think it's going to be closer than what the experts think, even though I am picking Houston to win. But it's going to be a close game. And Tennessee always seems to play Houston tough anyway. So divisional opponent is what you expect.
All right, now this is a big one right here. San Francisco at Green Bay. That's I think America's game of the week. Now remember, Brock Purdy is out with that game. Nick Bosa is also out with that game. As for the Green Bay Packers, Jair Alexander is out.
Oh, I think it's unanimous. I think, Your Honor. I don't know about you guys, but I'm picking Green Bay, even though I think it's so awesome. It's so amazing that the 49ers might not make the playoffs this year, which is absolutely amazing because I don't like the 49ers. So Green Bay 40-burger 42-10.
Ooh. I don't think it's going to be that big of a blowout, but I am picking the Green Bay Packers to win this game. But I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I'm looking at it like a 28-24 kind of game. I think it's still going to be a good game because I do think the San Francisco 49ers do still have talent there. I mean, they still got Debo. I mean, they got CMC back. I mean, they got talent there. So I think they're going to be able to do something. But I would pick you if you had Brock Purdy, but you're starting Brandon Allen. So yeah, kind of gotta. I'm gonna roll with Jordan Love on this one. I'm going with the
And
Packers.
and of all places where he's starting, the frozen tundra, Lambeau Field.
It's snowing right there in Green Bay, right? If I'm not
It wouldn't
mistaken.
surprise me if it's
No, it's
if
30,
it's
40. Yeah, it's 34 degrees and snowing. You know
yeah.
me. I'm from down south. I don't like the cold, so yeah, I'm staying away from there.
I haven't seen snow since 2017. It's been a while.
Champ, my man, who you got?
Hey, 49ers. Bang bang minor game. Pew pew. You pew pewing right now. But hey, Green Bay, in the great words of KRS-One, love's gonna get you.
All right. Now this one, Champ, I'm gonna let you go first. Buccaneers at Giants. Tampa is a 6-point favorite. This will be the first game with Tommy DeVito as the starter this season. Remember, as we mentioned, Daniel Jones has been cut. Baker Mayfield, Buccaneers are coming off the bye week. Tampa Bay's defense, that's the problem throughout this season. They can't just stop anybody. Will this be the game that they can actually stop the New York Giants, even with Tommy DeVito making his first start? Because last year, say what you want about Tommy DeVito, he actually played well for them last year, and he was a big story for them. So who do you got?
First of all, I want to make sure I know what I'm talking about. Cutlass is chicken, right?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm just asking because I'm not sure.
Of all people from Georgia, you Cutlass and chicken. Come on, man.
We don't eat no cutlass. We eat hens and we eat full chickens. I don't.
Yeah.
BRF, we don't eat no cutlass. I mean,
I don't, champ. I mean, we eat full chickens, but cutlets are good for sandwiches. So you know what I'm saying. We gotta have them. You know what I'm saying. So I'm just saying,
but
it's good easy eating. It's good easy eating on the stomach. Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I had to make sure, because I wasn't sure, man. I don't want to sound ignorant.
It's
But,
okay. We're Italians. We are Italians. It's okay.
But look. Tommy DeVito. I'm gonna go with the other team on this one. I don't really.
Bro, think about food right now. Think about cutlets.
I don't trust all that, man. I want Baker Mayfield to win. I really want Baker to win, man. And and I really want him to just prove that he can win without his star receivers. Because his star receivers are still out. And this is
well, he's getting Mike. I think he's getting Mike Evans back for this game.
He is.
Okay.
And not only that, but Baker Mayfield, if you look at the numbers this season, if you look at the game against Kansas City, he's looked real good.
He looked real good. I just want his record to reflect that because
Oh yeah, but there is a key player from the Tampa, the tight end. I think is
Cade Otton.
Yes, really good player. Him and Baker have built a rapport together. They I think Tampa should win this one. I'm gonna go 27-13. BRF.
Tampa should win this one. I do not trust their defense, even against the New York Giants, because Malik Neighbors is a dog, and I love watching me some Tyrone Tracy Jr. run the football. He's a good running back, but I don't think the Giants are going to be able to go blow for blow with Tampa offensively, particularly with them getting Mike Evans back. So I'm gonna go 28. I'm gonna go 28-17 Buccaneers.
All right, Harrison. Yeah, I mean, remember Brandon called Tyrone Tracy a random when they can't beat the. Remember the Giants beat the Seahawks and he called Tyrone Tracy a random.
Yeah.
He forgot
I
to
think he
call.
destroyed their defense. I think he destroyed the Seattle defense that game too.
Yeah, yes, sir, they did. Yeah, I'm taking
Shout
Tampa.
out to Brandon from the block. Shout out to Brandon from the block. We ain't trying to put you out on blast too much like that. Shout out.
Shout out
Shout out to Brandon.
Shout out to Brandon. Give me the Bucks. Probably 27-17.
All right, next game: Patriots at Dolphins. Dolphins are 7.5-point favorites. I'm gonna actually pick the Patriots in this one because Drake May has been looking pretty good. Tua, he's been looking solid. He's been looking okay, but I've told y'all I've been very pleased with what I'm seeing from Drake May. It's a rivalry game. I think that the Patriots could actually pull this one out. I'm gonna go Patriots 23, Miami 21.
Ooh. Okay.
Are they playing in Gillette?
No, they're playing at Miami.
Okay. If they was above that Mason-Dixie line, then I would have said the Patriots. But since they don't have to play outside and all that bad cold weather, I'm gonna take Miami on this one.
Yeah, I'm taking Miami too. Probably 21-17.
BRF.
I'm gonna pick Miami too. I'm liking what I'm seeing is them finally utilizing Odell Beckham Jr. in the offense as like a slot guy. So I'm hoping they kind of keep that going. I think I want to see more packages with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and Odell Beckham Jr. all on the field at the same time to really spread New England's defense out. So that's what I really want to see. I got Miami here. I think I want to see Miami turn this into a track meet. So I got Miami.
All right. Big one. Lions at Colts. Detroit is a 7.5-point favorite. By the way, that game is at Indianapolis, Indiana.
Is the board unanimous, Your Honor? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Harrison. You said it best.
I think it's unanimous if I'm not mistaken. But I'm picking the Lions. I think they're gonna blow them out of the water.
The board is unanimous, Your Honor.
I do. Board is unanimous, but I don't think the Lions are going to blow them out.
I think it'll be a little bit closer. Not a lot, but a little bit. It depends on how Anthony Richardson is playing, and can Indianapolis contain the best running back duo in Montgomery and Gibbs?
Sonic and Knuckles.
That's the thing that we got to ask ourselves. And Anthony Richardson is going to have to deal with Zadarius Smith. So that's going to be a problem. Even though Anthony Richardson is mobile and athletic, but at the same time, and shout out to Aaron Glenn, the defensive coordinator from the Detroit Lions, used to play for the New York Jets, has done a heck of a job. Gotta give him his due. All right, this one. Interesting game right here. Minnesota at Chicago. Minnesota is a 3.5-point favorites. Chicago, last week, it looked like they were about to beat the Packers, but another revisit of doink, the double doink or whatever, or it was a blocked field goal. Chicago, man, is just hopeless, man. And look, you can't say anything bad about Caleb Williams in that game. He played good enough in order for the Bears to win, but it's just a mess with the offensive line, with the team, the GM. I believe Minnesota will win, but I do believe it'll be a close one. I'm going to go Vikings 25, Bears 20. BRF.
I definitely think it's going to be a close game as well. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go 20. I'm gonna go 2017 Minnesota. I think Minnesota's defensive line is looking at that Chicago offensive line, I think they're ready to eat a little bit. So I got Minnesota winning this 2017.
Champ.
Hey, I gotta take. Look, man, Chicago, you're hopeless right now. So I gotta go with the other side. It is ugly.
Uglier than a masterpiece sneaker.
Yeah, uglier than a penny with a hole in it. So
That's a fact. Uglier than Shaq's feet.
I'm picking Minnesota.
Hey, have
I'm
you
thinking-
seen Shaq's feet?
I would really like to erase that memory. That is
I have not seen Shaq's feet, and I don't want to know about it.
you know what? You know what? Lord.
Lord Jesus.
What game Sandy throwing those PSP?
Shaq, I love you, but my God, man, you need to go talk to Charles Barkley. Go get you some manis and petties or something. I don't know, man. Y'all need to spend enough time. Heck, even go to the steam room for all I care.
Oh man.
I haven't picked yet. Give me Minnesota 24-20.
Go ahead.
Oh,
A little too colorful, folks. A little too colorful. In the sports PSP pod.
ah, oh
All right.
gosh.
This one, Broncos at Raiders. Board unanimous.
Board unanimous, Your Honor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look out for Bo Nix in that rookie of the year as well. He's been playing incredible.
Yeah.
Offensive rookie of the year.
Mm-hmm. We thought this race was over like 3 weeks ago. Bo Nix might have jumped Jaden Daniels for that award. He's been playing that good over the last month and a half.
He has, but don't sleep on Jaden. Don't sleep on him.
I'm not gonna sleep on Jaden, but it's time to get it going again because if Bo Nix gonna keep this up for the remainder of the year, especially what he did to us, like my God, he tore us up. He tore us up. So
I tried to tell Champ. I tried to tell him. He said we gonna handle our business and then we gonna go to Magic City. And unfortunately, all you went there was for them breasts and them thighs. And unfortunately, you had to go to them clubs like Drake. That's what happened for you that night.
Boy, he couldn't even peel the skin. He didn't get a chance to peel the skin off of none of that. That was horrible. that was horrible. That was embarrassing. Like Mike, I was watching that game Sunday. I knew it was over when the Broncos receiver, when he caught the ball and they forced the fumble. Well, it was an incomplete pass, but they called it a fumble because of the continuation of the play. They called it a fumble, and I was like, yeah, it's over because they about to score the way the defense looking. Oh yeah, this is a wrap. So, boy. That was horrible.
Harrison, you picked the Broncos, right?
Yeah, board's unanimous.
Champ?
Yes. But I will say this. Brock Bowers is on pace to break the rookie record for most catches by a tight end and on pace to break the most catches by a tight end in NFL history. So, go Dogs, but I'm going to take the Broncos.
Can I ask you this question, Champ? In all honesty,
Yeah.
Is Brock Bowers? Would you rather want him as your tight end as opposed to Kyle Pitts?
No, keep Brock where he is, man. I'm not. The thing is, I know what Kyle Pitts can do right about now. I know what he can do, and he hasn't in the last couple of years. This is the best year he's had since his rookie year. It's the best year he's had thus far since his rookie year. But I would rather keep Brock where he is to see if he can flourish. And that's the only reason why. Would it be a love affair if we could bring the dog back to Georgia? Yeah, it would. But I say keep everybody where they are so they can flourish.
All right. This is another. We got 3 interesting games to finish it off. Arizona at Seattle. Cardinals right now, they're leading the NFC West. Kyler Murray has been playing pretty well. You look at their offense. I mean, James Conner running the football. McBride, the tight end, very underrated. Their defense is starting to look a little bit better. I got Seattle winning in this one, but I wouldn't be shocked if Arizona win. I got Seattle 23, Arizona 22. BRF.
Mm. The way Kyler Murray is looking this year was what I wanted to see from him when we were talking about all the would you rather have Kyler Murray or Jordan Love? And I stuck my neck out and I said Kyler Murray. And at the beginning of the season, he was making me look bad. But lately, he's been playing, no pun intended, he's been playing like a champ. Homeboy's been looking really good. Really good. Um, he's spreading the ball around. Trey McBride, like you said, very underrated tight end. Marvin Harrison getting his. I feel like the heartbeat of that offense is James Conner. When he's rolling and he's running the ball and he's doing his thing, receiving out of the backfield, sets up play action, it opens up everything for that offense. I gotta go Arizona right now. I think for me, they're the hot team in that division right now. I'm gonna go 27-20 Arizona here.
Harrison?
PSP. Where's that OU helmet, my guy? Come on, put it on that big screen. Come on, put it on the big screen.
All right, give me a sec.
Yeah! Cardinals are winning 27-20.
All right, you got Cardinals winning that one. All right, champ.
In the great words of Public Enemy, by the time I get to Arizona, taking Arizona.
All right, Eagles at Rams. Sunday Night Football. Eagles are 3-point favorites.
Eagles. And Saquon goes for over 200 yards.
200?
200 yards from scrimmage. He will go for
Okay.
over 200 yards from scrimmage.
Harrison?
By the way, Devontae Smith's out, and that's kind of getting me really concerned.
Yes.
Because they don't do well if AJ Brown or Devontae Smith are playing. But one of them is playing, one of them is out.
That means Dotson's going to have to step up big.
I haven't seen a lot from him recently, or I'm tripping. I think he had one good play, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I was thinking about picking Philadelphia, but like I think the Rams might win this game. Okay, my fault. I have the Eagles winning, but don't be surprised if the Rams wins this game. So give me the Eagles winning 24-20.
All right. BRF.
I think the Eagles offense still performs at a higher level when it's AJ Brown not missing, as opposed to when it's AJ Brown off the field. Because AJ Brown, when he's on the field, he still opens up so many lanes and so many doors for the other offensive players to really do damage. And you got Saquon Barkley who can line up outside as well and be a wide receiver for you as well. I'm gonna pick the Eagles, and I'm gonna make a bold claim. I think the Eagles get at least 4 sacks this game.
All right. Bold, a nice prediction from BRF. And Monday Night Football. Ravens at Chargers. Harrison, I'll let you go first. Baltimore's a 3-point favorite.
You have a coin or anything, PSP, or no?
No.
Damn. I got the Chargers winning. I got the Chargers. I think it's gonna be close. That game's a toss-up. But I'm definitely picking the Chargers to win this game. Their defense is playing absolutely amazing right now. And also Herbert, man. People People are saying that this is the make it or break it year for Herbert, but now it's looking like he's playing at an amazing level with Jim Harbaugh, with no weapon, with DoorDash receivers, and also J.K. J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards. But wait, Chan, what are you making that face for? Besides Lane McConkey, my fault. Besides Lane McConkey, my fault. But give me the Chargers winning.
Yeah, he's been playing well this season.
I think about 1 point. Give me the Chargers winning 28-27. My fault, champ.
BRF.
I think it's safe to say that we've reestablished Justin Herbert as a top 5 quarterback in his league. And I'm not ashamed to say that. I think he's a top 5 quarterback in his league. I think he's reestablished himself. I know some people still really had him there because of talent. But I think Justin Herbert right now is playing at a top 5 level in this league right now. I'm going to pick the Chargers too, squarely for that defense. And I know, like, I don't know. I just the Chargers just looked at me like they have like a certain kind of magic about them this year, like being that team that could come out of nowhere and shock somebody, possibly a shock AFC title game appearance, being that team that comes out of nowhere and getting there and doing that. So but I think the Baltimore Ravens offense, even though they had the game against Pittsburgh, I kind of figured that was going to be slow, a slow paced game, a low scoring game. The Pittsburgh defense just knows how to play Baltimore, but everybody can't do that on defense. I think this game is a little more capability to be a shootout. I'm going to go 31-28, but I'm going to go Chargers here.
Champ.
Nothing motivates a person quite like revenge. Nothing. And that's what J.K. Dobbins is going to want when he faces his old team. Not to mention, nobody brought this up. This is the Brother Bowl Part 2 on Monday Night Football. The Brother Bowl Part 2 on Monday Night Football. Man, look. The Baltimore Ravens have the better offense, but I believe the Los Angeles Chargers have the more complete team. So I think I'm going to go with the Chargers in order to win this game. This is a must-win for Baltimore, especially considering that Pittsburgh just lost this past Thursday. So this is a must-win. But I'm going to go with the Los Angeles Chargers. Hey, go Dogs once again, man. Lad McConkey doing his thing out there, man.
He is.
All them dogs doing good, from the Philadelphia Bulldogs to Oakland, well, the Las Vegas, then now in Los Angeles, man. So all the dogs doing their thing. Hey, even the Baltimore Ravens, they got our old offensive coordinator. He a dog. So, dogs doing their thing all over the place.
Got our old middle linebacker too.
I got the Baltimore Ravens winning this one, because I think if there's ever a moment for Lamar Jackson to bounce back after that tough loss against Pittsburgh, this would be the game. And this could be another statement game for Lamar Jackson, because we have a lot of conversations. Who's better, Herbert or Lamar? And I think Lamar's going to have that one. But to your point, Champ, Baltimore secondary is the problem. And how are they going to deal with the Chargers? And Justin Herbert, if you give him enough time. But we did see the Chargers last week, and even though they won, they almost blew it against the Cincinnati Bengals. So it's going to be exciting. It's going to be some points in that game. And I think Lamar Jackson, this is the best we've seen from him as a passer. And the reason why the Ravens lost to the Steelers, Justin Tucker, for some reason, I don't know, but he has regressed, man, as a kicker. And that's shocking.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. And this is the best you've seen from Lamar as a passer. And you also have Derrick Henry running the football, having an MVP caliber season as well as Lamar. Baltimore against the Steelers, they were dropping some passes. Lamar didn't throw the ball as well as we thought, but there was some drop passes. Baltimore's defense hanged in, albeit against Pittsburgh's offense. But I do think that Lamar will have a much better game. I do think that the offensive coordinator will do a better job. And I would not be surprised late in the wire, Lamar Jackson seals the deal. So I got the Ravens 35, Chargers 31. I think it's going to be a close one. But fellas, let's move into some entertainment stuff. Harrison, you going to
Hey,
stick around or
PSB,
you going to leave?
I'm gonna head out here. It's been an honor, privilege. This undisputed world champ, PRF, PSB. It's been an honor. I'm gonna watch this Duke Arizona game. The second half's about to go underway. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.
Peace. Take it easy, Harrison. All right, fellas. Favorite The Rock moment. And I will go first.
Ooh.
Him and
Ooh.
Austin. The rivalry, the promos that they've done. I will ask y'all this question later on. Matter of fact, I'll ask y'all this. 15, 17, 19. Which between Rock and Austin, which WrestleMania do you felt like that was the best one? Because WrestleMania 15, I mean, you had you had Mankind, Mick Foley interfering in that match. Then WrestleMania 17, Vince McMahon stepping in. That's when Stone Cold Steve Austin turned heel. And then Jim Ross with the quote, as BRF mentioned last time, he sold his soul to Satan himself. And then WrestleMania 19, of course, Austin's last match. I love Rock as a heel, as a personality. His return back to the WWE in 2011 that led to the rivalry with him and John Cena, the promos, with Rock making fun of John Cena with the t-shirts looking like Fruity Pebbles. My other favorite moment from Rock, I can't say the term, but what he said to Triple H, "Shut up, bleep." That was my favorite.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and all the jambonis and putangs and all the other stuff. Oh wait, I oh my god. Remember when it's involving Rock, Vince McMahon, Rikishi. The kiss my you know what thing.
Yes.
I don't need to go any further because we already see our faces.
Mm-hmm.
But
And
those
like
are my
you said
favorite
earlier,
moments from Rock.
and like you said earlier, that commentary from JR, good old JR, just made it all the more sweet.
All we gonna say is he thought he was getting Trish Stratus, but he ended up with Rikishi.
Oh my god.
And we're gonna leave it at that.
Who wants to go? Who wants to go? Go ahead, Chad.
Oh, my bad. Go ahead, BRF.
Oh, okay, I'll go. Yeah, I'll kick it off. Well, The Rock, The Rock is definitely one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. I mean, having the privilege of basically seeing him pretty much almost his entire career from like the Rocky Maivia days to where the initial heel turn when he initially became The Rock and joined the Nation of Domination. One of the more underrated heel runs, by the way, was him in the Nation. Favorite all-time Rock moment? Lord, gosh, if I think if I'll say this, I think John Cena's the LeBron James of the microphone. The Rock is Michael Jordan. I'll just say that. I'll say that and keep it pushing. If I had to, well, to answer your question, PSP, the 17 match for me was better. Was the best of the three, bell to bell, just because like it. I mean, I feel like out of all the three, it easily had the most hype going into the match, and then that no DQ stipulation thrown in at the last minute just made it that much more. Just gave it that much more as far as like a high stakes match. So from and bell to bell, it was just awesome. It was like 2001. It was like top 5 match of 2001 for me. So 17 is definitely the best match they put on. Favorite Rock moment, Lord,
I'm
too
surprised you
many.
didn't mention the CM Punk one. Your arms are too short.
Oh yeah, your arms are too short to box with God. No, that's a CM Punk. That's a CM Punk moment. Hey, Rock got cooked on that one. I don't want to bring nothing up like this for a favorite Rock moment. He got cooked. He got cooked. Then I don't want to do him like that. Um, if I had to go favorite Rock moment,
Oh, I can't believe I forgot to. Oh my god, I
what
can't believe I forgot to bring this one up.
what are you thinking about?
Remember when Rock and Austin they were fighting, and then Rock was trying to get the skull belt, and then he throws Austin off.
Off the bridge?
Yes, off the bridge, and he said,
Oh, that's
"Austin,
a
you
good
want your
one.
belt? You take it the hell with you."
That was a good one. That was a good one. Gosh, I'm trying to think now. Uh, favorite Rock moment. Hmm. Aha. Well, one of my favorite Rock moments in terms of his promos was anytime he got to this Stephanie McMahon. Anytime he got to this Stephanie McMahon, those live in infamy. He destroyed her multiple times, and they were all hilarious. Um,
Not even Vicky Guerrero.
that Rock concert he did. Oh
Yes.
Lord, that's hey. If y'all had anybody in the chat or anybody watching this, if y'all haven't seen the Rock concert on Vicky Guerrero, please watch that. He roasted her 6 ways Sunday. Please watch that. We're not going to repeat what he said. Just know that it was amazing.
Colorful.
Gosh, I'm saying, understatement. Gosh, he's got so many. He's got so many. Um, One if I have to pick one that stands out for me, it's probably I think it was 01 at the peak of the invasion angle where he went away for a little bit and then he came back and like Vince was trying to convince him to come back to the WWE. Shane and Stephanie was trying to convince him to come back to join the alliance. Rock hits the rock bottom. Like, no, Vince said, don't listen to me, don't listen to them, listen to the people and do what the people would want you to do. So Rock bottoms Vince first. Right, and Shane's running out around the ring, celebrating and all that other stuff. And Shane finna come in and get the handshake. And right when he get the handshake, Rock pull him in and rock bottom him too. So that's definitely a moment. That's one of my favorite Rock moments to stand out. I think the one okay. My all-time favorite Rock moment is probably the 2011 return because it was shocking. It was for me. It was genuinely shocking because they were starting to talk about. I think this was at the time they were starting to really start talking about. Oh, we're gonna have a host. And we're gonna have a host for WrestleMania 27 because WrestleMania 27 was in Atlanta that year. So they were talking about a host, and they started to bring it up a little bit, start talking about it. And then when his mute, and then it was the debut of the new song. So when that song hit, it was like if you're a Rock fan, it was it was a legendary moment. You didn't know how to feel or what to think because you're like, man, bro, it's been 7 years, and it's like how do you say no to the Rock at that point? Because and it's like as soon as he came back, you knew what was about to happen 1 year from now. You knew when he came back. You knew what was about to go down. You knew it was about to be Rock and John Cena at WrestleMania 28. So it's like that set up one of the best years of build-up for a match I've ever seen. So I think for me, my favorite all-time Rock moment was him coming back in 2011 and really setting the groundwork for that run. The two that WrestleMania 28 match with Cena him coming back, beating CM Punk for the WWE title, which I don't think he should have done. But hey, it is what it is. And then to get you get once in a lifetime with him at WrestleMania 28, and then WrestleMania 29, you run it back. It wasn't as good a match as WrestleMania 28, but it was still a good match. So I think that 2011 moment really kind of just set the tone for what those next 2 to 3 years was going to be with The Rock and that run. So my all-time favorite moment was him coming back in 2011 because it was just one of those that just stand out because you never thought you were going to see him again, and then he comes back and it's just like he didn't lose a step on the mic, he didn't lose a step in the ring, and it's just like that's great for me. That's greatness personified. The Rock is greatness personified, and we need to give that man his flowers while he's still doing his thing, whether it's in the ring or making movies or just being the entertainer that he is. We need to give that man his flowers while he's still doing his thing.
Undisputed world champ.
Man, there's a lot of favorite Rock moments, man. Hey, man, back in the early days, man, Rock used to come out there clean with the Versace shirts on, you know what I'm saying? So he used to come out there clean with the smooth sunglasses, Versace shirts on. So, and the Rolex. Don't forget the Rolex. One of my favorite Rock moments, man, when he was doing the interview with Terry Runnels when Goldberg finally came to the WWE. 2 shots at the Chrome Dome with a steel chair. Cacao! Cacao! Oh, that was a funny one. That was a funny one. Hey, I don't think this gets talked about enough. Isn't it so ironic that The Rock ended the Monday Night Wars for good at Survivor Series 23 years to the day when he beat Stone Cold Steve Austin in order to completely wipe out the alliance in WCW and ECW?
Yeah.
It was ironic that the Rock Bottom ended the Monday Night Wars officially, and officially killed WCW and ECW off for good. That was good. Never forget. WrestleMania 15 was that one was great. That one was great. I loved it because of the storytelling, the fact that he wouldn't let Austin walk to the ropes. I mean, Corporate Rock was, on the mic, just deadly.
That was your best Rock Austin of the WrestleMania?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I like that one. Best Rock moment. Oh yeah, when he slid and hit the British Bulldog with the people's elbow with the Versace slippers on, when he slid and did that. Not to mention, never forget, he was in a wrestling match with the Big Show, and he, pushed the Big Show into the turnbuckle or whatever. And then Undertaker was like, "You need to keep your body like, shut up." And he put the headset on, got to talk smack to the Undertaker, and then took the headset off and then smacked the Undertaker. That was a funny one. Man. When he brought out the dwarf to impersonate Booker T, that was crazy. When he brought out the dwarf, that was, I don't know how to say it, but the way the dude impersonated Booker T was crazy. How do you feel, Booker T? How do you think I feel, sucker? Yeah, when he brought out the dwarf for that was crazy. That was not to mention when he brought out Gilbert and I think that was Gil. When he brought out Gilbert and posted Sacramento, Here I Go, when he played Sacramento, Here I Go, right before he faced off against Austin at WrestleMania 19. And said some very, very critical. I'll be sure to come back when the Lakers beats the King in May. And I mean, they booed him out of that building after he said that. As he said, I'll be back in May when the Lakers beat the Kings. That one was good. The Rock, man. Oh yeah, man. When he took over the nation, when you saw the split the hairs in the nation, when he gave Farouk the picture to hold up after he gave everybody else them $5,000 Rolexes. that was that was a good one, man. The Rock, look, one of the most transcendent crossover wrestling superstars of all time, man. You know, we talk about your Hulk Hogan's, we talk about your Austins, but when it comes to crossover stars, to the point that people forget about you as a wrestler and they remember you as an action movie star, that's how you know you've crossed over, when wrestling and what you do first is almost secondary. And Rock is, hey man, look, and not to mention, man, he's from the U. So, I mean, good job, man. You know, to go from the U and, you know, playing behind Warren Sapp to now being high up there on the food chain. Not only that, being on the board of directors with TKO and all of that, man, you've outdone yourself, man. And that's amazing.
And not only that, shout out to great Jim Ross, because when he met Dwayne The Rock Johnson, he talked about a story. He took him to some lunch, some Cuban restaurant, and you can watch the video on the Herd with Calvin Cowherd. Every female from the joint filled their water glass, and some of them didn't even work there. They just looked at the 6'5" stud, and he told JR, "Look, JR, I would love to buy you lunch, but I only got $7." So that's why he named it $7 Entertainment, because that's all he had at that time. So Rockman, I mean, he's great, charismatic, smile, has it all. He has the eye test. Him and Austin, the rivalry. I mean, those two were at the top of the Attitude Era. So, like, if I had to make a comparison of like an NBA one, I mean, you could say with a Magic or Bird. Could you say anything else? But Austin and Rock, the rivalry, it was great, and just two great guys. Love the game, love the sport of wrestling, and just magnificent, man. And fellas, one last topic: favorite Usher track. I'm gonna go first. Um, Nice and Slow. I love me Nice and Slow. Slow Jam featuring the great Monica. Twerk It Out. Trading Places. You Don't Have to Call. And There Goes My Baby. Those are some of my favorite tracks from Usher. And I'm still laughing with Usher because I was watching the video earlier, them Usher bucks. Did you see the one with Tyler Perry? Tyler Perry with the Usher bucks?
Oh boy.
Now I can see why Keke Palmer was sweating all over Usher.
Lord have
No,
mercy.
no, I'm sorry. Go, Champ, I'm gonna let you go.
Oh man. Watch this. All right.
Mhm.
I actually liked it. Watch this.
Yes.
That was good. I don't want y'all laughing at me like y'all did last week when I brought up Keisha Cole. I should have cheated, so I'm gonna leave papers out of it.
That was a
So,
good song. I mean, I can't. Hey, that was a good song, man.
I'm gonna leave papers out of it. So you know, papers was pretty good. But
Papers is a good song though.
yeah,
It
papers
was.
was a good song. So I mean, hey, sometimes you gotta give somebody their walking papers. Just saying. But but Daddy's Home. That was a good one. Hey, Nice and Slow. Man, Lovers and Friends. Lovers and Friends. Although that wasn't his particular song, I know that was Lil Jon's song, but that was good. My Way.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
My Way. My Way. Hey, and shout out to my homegirl D Mob. Shout out to you. Oh my gosh. Shout out to D Mob
Mm.
because we used to rock that song back in the day. Shout out to D Mob. So man, Usher, man, look. Hey man, not to mention, man, look, Usher did play Sugar Ray Leonard uh in
In the movie.
in the movie, yeah. And he played a good role, man. You know, they picked the right guy for the role when he played in Manos de Piedra. So
Roberto Duran.
yeah, Roberto Duran. But hey man, uh Usher, man, look, he made a lot of hell of a lot of songs. And look, man, look, back when they had the dance floor, Usher, you got me a lot of dances back in the day. So I appreciate you, man.
BRF.
Mm. Man, I got a bunch of songs I like from him too, man. But yeah, you make me wanna, nice and slow. Yeah, My Way is a really good song, underrated song. Um, with a Superstar. I might be one of the. I think the Confessions album is his greatest album. That's just my opinion. I think the Confessions album is his greatest album. Uh, here I stand. That album is right up there too because you got Trading Places, Moving Mountains, Love in This Club, the original and the remix. Um,
The one with Beyonce.
the one with Beyonce and Wayne. Yes, the remix. Yes, yes,
Mhm.
that's a good track too. Um, it's hard for me it's hard to single out my favorite one of his just because I was always I was just always like a big fan of his. Like I respected his style, I respected his flow, like his music, just everything about him, the way he carried himself. He That's why like so many people are like, the Usher and Chris Brown comparisons because the aura is just so similar between the two as far as like the type of music that they made and just what they did for the culture, what they did for us as far as music. Um All time favorite. My all time favorite Usher song is probably There Goes My Baby. Probably my all time favorite one. But trying to pick an all time favorite with him is really hard. But I think
Babu. Babu with Alicia Keys.
that's the one song that song is probably the one song I can listen to like just anywhere and I'm rocking with it and I'm having a good time. So that's probably my favorite Usher track.
Mm-hmm.
What about My Boo with Alicia Keys?
That's another banger. That's another banger.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong with that combo. That's another banger. And
Hey,
and then and there's way more songs we haven't even named. There's like you said you don't have to call. You Remind Me, Burn, um, Confessions 1 and 2. Just two. There's too many. There's too many to name.
hey, BRF, you remember them letters that we used to pass notes to the young ladies back in high school? Remember all of them had that letter, song of the day, my boo. So I mean, this before booed up. So you had to, this before DM, so you had to write that letter. Then everybody put my boo on there. That was that's the reason why I remember my boo because of
Uh,
that.
I didn't. I'll admit I didn't pass the letters that much, but I have done it a time or two. I tried to shoot my shot. I tried to shoot my shot a time or two. It didn't work, but hey, I mean, you can't get nowhere without trying.
Can't. All right, fellas, that concludes the rest of the Sports PSP pod. Hope everyone enjoyed a fantastic pod. Fellas, any final words before we wrap up the show?
Happy Thanksgiving. Um, I know I'm a week early in saying that, but I will say this. Number one, it's always a privilege, a pleasure, and an honor to be on the PSP podcast. Thank you for always inviting us here, giving us a platform in order to speak and talk about sports and spread our knowledge. But I will say this, man. Hold your family members close and be there for them. This is a tenuous time. This is a tenuous time, but it comes around the holiday season. The holiday season is a time where you need to be around your friends, you need to be around your family. Don't neglect them. Be around them. But thank
Well,
y'all.
well said, undisputed world champ, BRF.
Definitely, definitely enjoyed myself. This is yeah, because like we said earlier in the video, today was my 39th birthday, so it's awesome to go out last couple of hours of the day with my brothers doing what we do best. Always a pleasure getting on here with y'all. Y'all are doing so much for me, as far as like wanting to make something out of this, wanting to do something really big with this. Y'all are doing so much for me, and I can't thank y'all enough from the bottom of my heart. What y'all doing for me with this content creating thing, can't thank y'all enough. Um, hey, we're gonna plug it. Hey, new night for the Undisputed Ghost Sports Podcast tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Check it out with me, my 706 brother Champ, and our Wisconsin brother Flash. Check that out tomorrow night. We got a lot of good topics coming up, so definitely check that out as well. I'm back on the takedown. We had a new episode last Tuesday. We're back on. We had missed the last couple of weeks, but we're back on. Shout out my homie Elijah and CJ, our wrestling podcast. We're back every Tuesday, 7:30 every Tuesday. So definitely check that out as well. Hey, a topic not thought about is a topic not talked about. It's always a pleasure being on here with you, brothers, and continued success to both of y'all. Got love for both of y'all, and we're gonna keep this rolling from the Garden State to the Empire State of the South. That's how we roll.
Absolutely. And y'all know where to follow me at, folks, fellas. Like and subscribe to the YouTube channel as well as IG Sports PSP as well as TikTok Sports PSP3. Already, like I said, over 33,000 subscribers. Um, Hope everyone enjoys a happy Thanksgiving. To echo what Undisputed World Champ said very eloquently, be around loved ones, be around friends and family through good and through bad. If they need to talk, if they need help, do the best that you can, and don't be afraid to also ask for help as well. Because especially around these times, holidays, even though it gets pretty tough at times, still it's always important to have friends and family with you to keep you in a level of peace and comfort. So hope everyone enjoys a happy Thanksgiving, and we'll definitely have a pod next Friday night. We'll definitely do some recaps regarding Thursday's games, last week's games, and so much more regarding entertainment. As far as wrestling, I will try to come up with something, but music one, I will say this: favorite DMX song. Stay tuned
Mm.
for next Friday night on the Sports PSP podcast. And on that note, we is out. Peace.